Hence, we are live.
Okay, so I have turned on the recorder. This time it's now 9:35 a.m. I'm going to call the meeting of the Venetian Community Development District to order. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2026. The first item on the agenda is the council order / roll call. Those supervisors that are present are Joe Pizarro, Cheryl Tarana, Cindy Sneezik, Ken Smaha, and Rich Goodman. On behalf of District Management is myself, Belinda Blandon. We do have Field Manager Keith Livermore present. General Manager of the River Club, Greg Parker, is present. On behalf of Landscaping Inspection Services, we also have Spencer Gonzalez with us. And for the record, there are audience members present. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public comment portion of the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, we will limit public comments to 3 minutes per person. Our first speaker is Barbara Silkworth. Barbara, good morning.
Good morning. I want to report this morning on the watering situation, just to bring you up to date. Over 45 days, we found that there were 575 violations. Those violations occurred in like 85 homes. So lots of people had multiple violations. One home had as many as 19. But one of the things that we learned with looking at all of these violations is that there were situations where somebody had died. There was a situation where people went back north. There were situations where people were off on their clock just by one day. We found that some people were watering every other day. We found people thought they could water, more than one day a week. So there were all sorts of variations with the watering schedule. However, we also felt that maybe a lot of these people didn't really know that these problems occurred. So what we have done you've seen some of the notes we've sent out, but we have sent out to these 85 homes telling people that they have until May 31st to correct their problems. We've cited the number of violations they've had, but coming June 1st, no more, out of school pass. Fines will start on June 1st, and we sent that to these 85 homes. We've got to get people's attention, that Ken has pointed out, a fine will do this. We've had some good feedback, people coming in, they didn't know. We also find that people don't seem to know the difference between city water and reclaimed water. We've also found that some of the notifications that come out are in conflict because city water can be used to water on a sprinkler or whatever. City water can be used on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our schedule, of course, is your house number assigned to a day. The county's house number assigned to a day is different than our number assigned to a day. So if people go out and look, it's confusing. It's hard to explain to people. But we've only had maybe a half a dozen or more people come in with questions, but people saying, oh, I didn't know, I'll fix my clock. We also find that the sub-associations who have contractors or landscapers setting clocks allegedly set them, but then funny, they don't seem to be set correctly. So there have been all sorts of variables in here, but June 1 is target date.
Can I ask you a question, Barbara? I know I shouldn't, but it's
Oh,
important.
go ahead.
The notice that we got, that we could be violating the city's rules, is that correct?
The city,
Yes.
I believe it to be correct. I mean, the city.
We're not.
Oh, not the reclaimed water.
No, that's.
No, but if I have a sprinkler on my flower bed at 10 a.m. now,
Yes,
I
that's.
could get a fine from the city.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is
Just to be,
correct.
I want to be clear on the
Yes,
record. That's
that
what
is-
I thought.
That is correct.
Okay. That's what I needed to know.
If you have an even numbered house,
Yes.
you can water on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
but only in the prescribed
Hours, whatever it is. Got it. I just
And
wanted
the
to be,
city recently changed that. They tightened
okay.
the hours
I just wanted to
again.
be crystal clear on the
Yeah.
record. That's what I needed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Darlene Schimmer.
Good morning. I just have a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, speed bumps. I've seen this happen so many times now. They are too close to the stop signs. People are going over the speed bumps and going right through the stop sign because that's what they can do. When they get their wheels over the speed bump, they're already through the stop sign, they just go. They don't stop. So I think we defeated our purpose with those. And then I know, but when you see it all the time, if you got a biker that's coming across the street and you've got a guy going, I know, Cindy, I know, but it's just a matter of opinion. And then the last speed bump that was put in on Passaro, that is like, I mean, was that meant to be a jolt the way it is? It is really, really compared to the other speed
You mean
bumps.
the hump? You mean the hump?
By the golf club.
It is a hump. And it's quite higher and much more jolting than the other ones are, and I'm not sure that that was your choice, but that's what's happening. Besides that, I heard wonderful things about Mother's Day. I got a lot of great compliments from everybody on the Mother's Day brunch and the food that was served and everything, so everybody really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, we haven't had a social committee meeting, so I won't say anything about social committee right now. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Darlene.
Thank you. There being no further speakers signed in, we're going to close on public comment and move forward with our agenda. So we're going to move into committee reports.
Yes.
We do have racket sports as the first report.
Any questions for me?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see it on here, but it was alluded to in item 2A, the headaches. Do we think we're gonna be able to get a resolution to some of the, I'm gonna call them court booking anomalies? Where are we gonna be able to resolve that with Jonas, or are we gonna need to go back to
I am
something else? or-
Going to be very elusive here,
Okay.
and there looks to be a solution.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
And it's just a matter of when that solution will be released into the program.
Okay.
So there are, from an IT perspective, what happens is they package a bunch of changes and
Uh-huh.
then they schedule a release.
Yeah,
That release is scheduled here
okay.
in a couple of
So,
weeks, so let's
okay.
be patient.
Okay.
And if that doesn't take care of it, we will be addressing a different solution over the course of the summer for that, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I know there's that other issue I got copied on.
Yes.
I know Matt's dealing with a lot, I guess
Matt-
is all I wanted to say.
Yeah, so the email that came out from the one resident was a lot of speculation that was inaccurate because it involves future dates. I spoke with Matt this morning, all of the speculations were incorrect. So I don't know, obviously, I don't know what we do about that, but yeah, I talked to Matt this morning about that particular situation as well. And then Matt did come to me and I'm working with the attorney on it. There have been permanent guests that have been coming in and using our tennis courts without the resident.
Really?
Yep. So,
Permanent guests.
Yeah,
How are
so-
they getting?
so because they're permanent on TechWave, they're just coming right in and coming up to the tennis courts and playing tennis. So I'm addressing that with Andy today, and we will be notifying the residents that that's not to happen.
So in other words, what you're saying is a resident put somebody on their permanent list in order for them to
Come
just
in.
come in and play.
Correct.
Yeah.
There was no court reservation. Obviously, the resident doesn't show up with the guests.
Do we
The
need
guests
to-
just step on the courts and play.
So maybe we need to look at the rules, because if somebody's doing that, then
We
you get no enforcement without consequences.
We should be charging.
Yeah, I was gonna
say,
Yeah,
isn't there-
that's the way the conversation's gonna go when I talk to Andy. I was gonna pull out all the information for Andy, so he can craft the email to the resident, and then we will be charging the resident $20 for the two guests that stepped onto the court.
And also the resident for allowing that to happen
Yes.
should be,
Because there are limits.
should be penalized as well.
Yes.
Because they're violating the rule by not,
I don't
by not
think
being there.
that, I don't think that resident is a tennis player.
And we
There
don't,
is, I don't, the
and we
resident,
don't assess penalties unless it's a late fee.
yeah.
Remember, we're not a
Yeah,
penalty.
we are not.
No, but
So-
getting rid, backing at that tech way of, to come into the community, we have those abilities.
We
But
do.
I think we first have to notify them.
Yeah.
So, and my only question is, do we need Andy to do that?
Well, I asked Andy if he would mind sending it, and he said he would send it. Do you think that it can come from me? Or, I don't know.
It's a, hey,
Of the board.
resident,
Or the board?
yeah, hey, resident, there's a
Yeah.
violation. Your guest came on the tennis courts,
Uh-huh,
did not pay a fee. Your fee will be added to your account in the amount of $20 because it happened twice. And FYI, you cannot, we can have Andy do it, but I'm just saying,
Okay,
this is just an enforcement of our rules as they exist
Right,
today.
it's not a suspension,
It's not a
which,
suspension,
Okay.
it's just a,
yeah.
this happened, $20 is being added to your account,
okay,
your River Club account,
okay.
for this guest. And by the way, your guest cannot play without you in attendance.
And there are
Please
limits.
stop
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And if it
Yeah.
continues, there'll be suspensions.
Okay,
Not just a fee, there'll be suspensions.
you're okay with me sending that? Okay, then I will draft it, run it by Andy to make sure all the,
Yeah, we want to be careful with the legal overkill because we got into
okay,
that.
all right,
Yeah.
I would just like Andy to take a
I
look
think
at it
you're
before I send it.
perfectly capable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
didn't want to overstep.
Yeah,
All right.
helpful to get this
Well, I'm
stuff.
glad I brought it up then.
Yes.
Are you concerned, Belinda? Your
Yeah, I
mouth is
actually
moving.
think that should be more of a management thing.
Yes.
I think it should be,
Oh, rather
come
than
from the
board.
River Club rather than you, Cindy, because they should, they're enforcing the rules.
Okay.
I think,
That is really a better
By
idea.
Okay.
contract, they're.
All right.
they're-
It should
yeah,
be
It should be a management company.
Matt and Greg sending it to the residents,
So they
just saying
should
this is
probably
what's
have,
happening.
letter templates that they can, maybe, if they need help with any boarding, we can definitely assist, but, it's more of a management role, so I think it would be better if any type of violations and things should go out from the management team rather than directly from the board.
Okay, do you want that to come from Matt or from you?
Probably Matt on that one.
Okay, I will work with Matt then.
And I
And
think, yeah, because
If he wants to include me, I'd be happy to be included, but I think he should be the driver.
And you can help him, so
I
that
will.
will be perfect.
I will.
and I believe I have some letters that Andy and I had worked on when Vesta was still here. So let me see if I can
Oh.
find them during the meeting.
Okay, and then send it to me during the meeting. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate the help. Cool.
Thanks, Belinda.
And then Matt will send it, but then just in the verbiage, it'll say, in following the rules of the Venetian River Club.
Yeah,
This
for
is
our rules and
Per the
regulations.
rules and regulations.
Okay, yeah, I'll get him
Set
everything.
forth or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I'll send the draft over to him and copy you on it. So
Yeah.
you guys.
it only once or multiple times?
This happened, he caught them the second time. He observed it the first time. So he saw it the first time and then he spoke with them the second time.
It's one person or?
It is one resident, two guests. Based on the resident,
Well, I thought the resident wasn't a tennis.
he wasn't, he's not, but he's the one,
He's the resident, but his two guests are the ones coming to the tennis.
Yes.
He's not coming with them.
I know.
Yeah.
But she's saying there was one resident and two guests.
No, one resident with the same two guests.
Guests.
It's only one resident who's having their guests do this.
yes. Makes sense?
Why are we charging them $40?
And we have to change the rules.
No, they did it twice.
Well, they did it twice, so what you're saying,
$10.
they
Oh,
did
yeah,
it
it
twice.
should be $10 each.
So you want me to do the 40?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
All right, perfect, I'll do the 40.
I charged them like $1,000.
But that's you.
We don't know how many
Judge.
times they-
Yeah, okay, cool. Anything else on the tennis? Okay,
They can become members.
they could,
Yes, they
yeah,
can.
yeah, that would be ideal. Some extra money.
Reserve and finance?
Nothing to add to Mark's letter that came out. I think all the board got it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
helpful.
Landscaping, Cheryl?
I handed out their minutes, I just got them yesterday, so I handed them out today. And I sent them to Carrie to be put on the next agenda for approval, but
most of this is actually going to be talked about during our agenda item. But there are a few other things in the field manager's report. If you have any questions, we can go over it.
All right, we're gonna move into staff reports, landscaping inspection services. Spencer, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. This was a longer report than many of the ones in the past, about 85 items. They're typically around 40 or 50. A lot of it was due to stuff we've been dealing with, but it's just gotten worse. The Awabuki hedge, the weed pressure, dead material, and that would be the main items here, and then some tree related stuff I'll get to at the end. The hedge, the installs, kind of some poor craftsmanship that was going on there before they put the mulch in. So I'll start with the installs because I know that's a big priority for people. When they cleaned out the old material, they did not really clean it all out. There was lots of roots and stumps and sticks and stuff where they did not cleanly take out the existing material. So even without when you don't have the mulch, it already looks kind of dirty. And then you add a whole bunch of random, it looks like wires poking out of the ground. It's just old plant material. So some better craftsmanship would be expected there, and just like pride in the job site. The hedge has a lot of dying or dead plants in it, and they need to cut these out as it happens. As it keeps expanding, there's more and more dying. Then you've got to get a scope creep with well, there's so much of it, I can't be expected to pull it out at once. Well, you didn't need to pull it all out at once. It's been dead. And then the couple times they did pull it out, they left 2 feet of stick out the bottom. It needs to be cut to grade or plus or minus 2 inches to grade. So that way it's not a tripping hazard or, just a tombstone sitting there. The weed pressure has gotten significantly worse. If you're looking at the report, you look at something like item 18, there's about a 4-foot weed growing through the variegated ginger, which is, that takes quite a while to grow. So that means for quite a while, treatment and hand pulling wasn't happening. Or if it was happening in small little isolated spots and ignoring inside foliage. You did have some dead plant material back here. You had a dead pygmy palm where it was in terminal decline. The heart had already died. So whatever was green on there is going to be the last bit of green, little sputters here or there, but there's not going to be new growths or spikes coming out of it. And the roundabout up here for a couple of weeks now, or a couple of reports now, I've asked to remove the dead material. There's a lot of material that is not going to come back. And if it were to come back, it would start at the base and you would have however much time for it to grow back.
Isn't that all removed now? I think he removed it last week.
It looks clean.
Yeah, he took care of it.
Okay, I haven't checked all this since the last report, but. And then there was a couple tree related issues. I don't know if it had been fixed, I haven't checked. There was a light poles on Passaro that were not trimmed around. I notified the on-site gentleman, both his work phone and his personal phone. Never got a call back from him. So I don't know if he took care of it, but before he left and while he was still working, he was notified twice of cutting around the light poles on Passaro. There is another tree, I think I've reported on the past, but I went and looked at it again. It's item number 35 in the buffer next to the tennis courts. It's splitting down the middle a little bit, and there was a previously split tree as well, so it's already kind of fallen apart, and now there's more cracks forming between the two codominant stems. There's not a lot of targets around it. I wouldn't say it's a high priority, but just anticipate in your mind that one of these storms or one of these budgets, you'll want to take care of it, but I definitely wouldn't call it urgent. There was some hangers in it, so there's dead branches that fell but never made it all the way to the ground. If there's ever kids, I've never seen kids playing around anywhere, but if there was, that if I was living here as a 10-year-old or something, I'd be in that buffer playing all the time. So that's what came to my mind. But yeah, those are the highlights, the hedge, weed pressure, some tree-related items, and, the quality of the pull out before the new install came. Also, along the border, the wall around the community, a lot of vines are starting to grow in and overtake those hedges, indicating that a lot of detail isn't there. And something we always want to stress is the entire perimeter that's being maintained needs to be maintained with a similar level of efficiency. It's understood that perhaps we're not going to be hand pulling underneath against the border wall where no one sees, but certainly we don't want vines to overtake the whole hedge. Unfortunately, we're at that time of year now. Now we're in May. If the next report isn't dramatically better, I would say it's pretty safe to say you're not going to get better until the winter time. Again, they have not met that benchmark of, hey, summer's going to get started. We want our best look before summer gets started. It's gotten a little bit worse. So, any questions?
For the tree work that we did, have you gone through the entire community to make sure that all the trees have been trimmed properly?
Not since I came on the second day of their work. I wasn't there for each day, so before I leave, I can check. But I will say the work that I did see was done very well.
Okay.
They did a really good job of not taking stuff out that doesn't need to be taken out. They did a good job of being selective on the big cuts they made. That's something we want to see less of, is big open wounds on a tree. And I talked to him about it. He was very knowledgeable about what he was doing. He was able to show me with a clear reasoning on why he did what. So I don't see anything that showed that they didn't know what they're doing or didn't do good work as overall. But, I'll check on my way out.
That'd be great.
However, there was some light poles that were missed, which is a pretty important part of the trimming.
Spencer, did you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl, the work, there was some additional work done on Laurel Road following some of the dead plants. I think they put in a bunch of sod, didn't they?
Mhm.
Is it gonna make it?
I know, if
Some
we
looks
were,
done
yeah,
already.
some looks, yeah, we're gonna call and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
We don't, I don't know if it's,
yesterday.
if the irrigation is fixed, something's happening.
Yeah.
It's not, something's.
Yeah, I noticed that coming in today and I talked to Cheryl about it this
Yeah, I was
morning. and-
walking by it yesterday, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is from the firehouse?
Yeah.
area?
Yes,
Yeah, I
It's pretty
saw that
crunchy.
in very blatantly yellow
Yeah.
section amongst the green.
yeah, it's pretty crunchy.
That area had been having a lot of problems already, though. If you look at not just the grass, but kind of a little more west on that road, you also see some hedge material that has died. The Alabuki, more of that, which in general, another part of that hedge, besides just getting that dead material, is it's still growing taller for multiple months now. We're gonna, phase it down, which is correct. You're supposed to cut a little bit off next week or next couple weeks, cut a little more off. You don't want to just hard cut it
Yeah.
and leave like tree trunks sitting there. And they haven't done that. It's getting taller and taller. And, unfortunately, if another company comes in here, it's going to be quite a charge to get that down to whatever height you guys want. Typically 8 feet is where people have their hedges.
Yeah.
You got it at like 12, 14,
Mm.
16 feet in
Yeah.
areas, and that's going to be, pretty decent proposal.
Was this before or after the last response we got from Sergio? Did he respond to that report or the previous one? Have we gotten a response from your last report?
Think so.
This was a recent one.
Yeah, this is recent. He did reply to it. Let me double check. I don't think.
The one I sent last week?
Yeah.
Because a lot of work was supposed to be done like the week of the 8th.
Yeah.
This week.
The hedge was supposed to be done last month, twice. And the month. So when I say last month and the month before, it was supposed to be getting started. So that alone is, not happening according to the timelines they're giving out.
This is. How do we fix this? Because it seems to be ongoing. We have a large community, and we're always, like I mentioned at the budget meeting, we've got special out doing all this work, but we should not have to be paying to have somebody let us know that somebody else is not doing the job, and then they don't do it. And as stupid as it sounds, I mean, if that one area is always having problems with the grass, that you're talking about the fire station with the grass, that's at the very, very end of the property. I don't know how we do this, but somebody should, maybe the guards can do this, is when those things go off at night to check the water pressure, because when you do a wet check, my pressure in my house is great. I go out at 2:00 in the morning, when it's really, when it's my time, and I'm at the end of the run, my sprinklers are sputtering. So maybe we're having the same problem down that end of the thing, besides the pressure starts, minimizing as you get to the very end of the run. Maybe there is a pressure problem down there. So if we can have the guards look at that, Keith, maybe to see what's going on, to see if that's part of the problem, maybe we need some more heads or.
Well, wouldn't Juniper do a wet check in those areas?
But when you do wet check during
Yeah,
the
but
day,
they're not gonna do that
the
to
pressure's
them.
great. I mean, if I do a wet check right
Right.
now, my
At
sprinklers are
regards,
going,
yeah.
they're reaching
That's the
everywhere.
problem.
At nighttime,
I think
When they
that's
actually go
a
off?
really, yeah.
it's half, I'm getting half the pressure.
Yeah.
So maybe we're experiencing the same problem, so if we don't understand it or address it, we're never gonna solve it.
That's a good point.
Keith, what do you think?
Well, it's not that we haven't addressed it or looked at it. We know that, every time especially on Valenza Loop, we've had multiple people out there saying that they don't have enough pressure. We've paid for experts to go out there, and we've had multiple times where we find it's the homeowner that had, his filters were all gunked up, his heads were cracked, losing all kinds of pressure on that property. And so once those were fixed, there was no more problems. He had plenty of pressure. We've got a pressure tester. We make sure that we're getting enough pressure to those points. During the night, and it has happened, this is the first I've heard about you not having any pressure out there.
It's not to the point that it's
Okay.
that bad.
But there's a lot
It's
more
fevers.
going on at night because of Laurel Road and all the irrigation that they're trying to catch up with out there. So there's a lot more watering going on out there than normally, because we've given them they needed to have a variance too. And that's why we need to check with the sod and why that's turned, because they have the variances, they can water as they need at night. So that's probably going to cause some loss of pressure, because there's so much going on out on Laurel Road.
It
How
sounds
much
like
more?
It's not getting watered out there.
What's that?
It sounds like it's not getting watered.
Well, that's kind of the way it looked, and that's why
Not Valenza Loop, but on.
On Laurel.
on Laurel Road, right?
I'm
And so-
texting Wyatt right now, because he's got to come on.
So I mean, that'll be addressed here in a minute, and we'll find out, why.
But I'm saying if we have the guard look at night, we'll know exactly what's happening at nighttime.
I take your point.
I mean, I'm not asking you to do it. We have a guard just.
No, I understand. No,
Just go out.
but we'll address that and see what's going on out there, because they should be.
Because if the pressure is great, then we have a different problem. If the pressure is bad, we know that, because they're telling me it's the hedge and the grass looks dry, then obviously it appears to not be getting the water. So I'm wondering, I'm not saying that it is, but
Oh, there's been some challenges out there on Laurel Road and the Medici Berm area with irrigation that should have been and has been addressed. That's why we went ahead and said, okay, let's put the sod in. Let's replace all these plants now that you are guaranteeing. But to come in today and see, because the grass was just laid last week, come in today and see that it's going south, it's concerning. So that's the calls that we're making right now to see what the heck's going on there.
Why weren't they checking on it?
Well, it's summertime, and they probably are running thin across everywhere. Which is why in November of last year, we had the discussion about you want to looking good by May, because it's going to be much harder to get that help in a reasonable time during the summer, because in the wintertime, they're looking for work to give guys, right? And then in the summertime, they're looking for guys to do the work.
Right.
I think if you want, you mentioned like what's going on, like it's a reoccurring issue. You really need to start with are we paying enough? You know, if so, what is the margin? Try to have an honest conversation with Juniper above the account manager level, someone who has a real P&L stake in all this. Are you guys, why can't you do this? Well, you know, this and that, whatever. And if you can find a reason, you know, extract, if you're gonna switch companies anyway, eventually, if it just gets worse and worse, try to extract as much information from them as possible on what is their struggle. Is it a company problem? You know, Juniper is going through a lot of expansion. Are they handling that expansion poorly? Is it a bad price point? You know, if they had the right amount of money, do you think they could actually still do the job? If the answer is no, then, you know, you've gotten the information you need out of them, you know? But you certainly don't want to be in a position where you just get another company or another outside vendor and say, can you do it? You know, because they're going to say yes. You know, you want to make sure you're able to present the questions and ask from a technical standpoint
Yes.
on why they think they can do it, based off of the information you gathered from Juniper.
Just need to have Sergio, Spencer on the phone with you when you talk to Sergio.
They said they could do it.
Yeah, but I mean, the response is,
Yeah.
talking to Sergio is not the problem. It's like, do they have the crews
Yeah.
available to do everything?
I mean, we went up 2 weeks ago with Sergio for an hour and a half and drove this property and had those hard conversations and with him, and it sometimes I've.
And because to that point, this is one of the struggles I have thinking about giving them more work for the landscape plan is because I'm like, do we want more dead plants? I just,
Yeah, I'm worried about that too.
I struggle with that. And I don't mean that in any way as a, you know, trashing
Oh, no,
you or the
I
landscape
understand.
committee, but it's,
Understand.
it concerns me.
I mean, supervisors, you do have contract and you do have language in the contract for issues like this. We've already had a few
Yeah.
discussions, they've already received 2 notices.
Mhm.
At this point, I would suggest, since you've already sent them 2 prior notices, maybe at this point, a legal notice would be what's recommended. I've already sent them notices twice, yes, they've, you know, they've
Or
gone
good.
back, addressed the issues, but then they go back to the exact same thing again.
Or can we get somebody from Juniper, rather than, you know, I mean, that's all well and good, but let's just cut to the chase. Let's just get a Juniper executive here and have a conversation, somebody above
We have,
Sergio's level.
we've had the Southwest Florida District Manager here and spent time with us, and several things got done when that happened, and some
Well,
pricing
but
changed.
maybe he needs to be in front of us and explain to us, you can or you can't. If you can, do it. If you can't,
But we have to tell them first yeah, so I agree with you,
Yeah, I
Rich,
mean,
but
I
we
think
need
you
to kind of work through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably, send a letter and, I mean, my communication was direct with Scott Carlson, so we can invite, Scott Carlson to attend the next meeting after the notice goes out with obviously the report attached with a demand for immediate correction to all these
And I would
issues.
copy Kyle on that. He's the Southwest manager. Scott is almost too high, you know what I mean? He's not touching. I mean, I agree to send it to him, but the guys who are implicated every day need to see it as well.
And then my question is, because to me, you never bluff, you know, if it doesn't work out, then what's the next step?
And
And
then we
are
go
we
out to
prepared?
RFP.
And are we prepared? Should we actually John Tulberg did a great job with the previous RFP. It's over 3.5 years ago. So do we already dust it off and have a look at it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think that the RFP, the process itself is pretty easy. It's just, you know,
Analyzing
it's
it.
analyzing it, and I will say, but it's also, you know, we took the lowest bid last time.
We
We did that
did.
intentionally.
We did.
We went with,
Yeah.
how could we save money?
Once
Because,
again,
and there were some other bids that we all agreed, they might do a better job, but it was like a lot more, it's more money.
Yeah.
And
I
so
still have my
Do you
binder
recall how
from
much
that.
more it was? I don't remember. I
it was
wasn't
at least 100,000.
That's what I was gonna
It
say,
was a big
if I
gap.
remember correctly.
It was a big
I
gap.
remember
Now, the
that. I remember
references were
seeing that, yeah.
amazing there. And the whole conversation came back to, we don't have any history with them, let's just go with the known entity. And we do that, you know, because, and especially now when we're sitting in budget and we're trying to
Yeah,
find ways to cut
exactly.
so we don't have a
Yeah.
big increase. It's
Exactly.
like, there is this weight. I mean, I know people who live in other communities around here who have just moved away from some landscape vendor, not this one, but, and said, we're going back to the one that costs more because
Yeah.
it looks better.
Mhm.
And so we may have to bite the bullet at some point, or say to Juniper, do you not have enough crews in here? Did you underwrite yourself? And if so, when we go out to bid, yeah, but if we go out to bid, the chances, I think, of getting them back would be slim or none. And so, but we are gonna, I think we all have to understand that we will pay more. There's no way.
Well, you're gonna pay more with, even with Juniper as well, because this wasn't their,
Right.
This wasn't there.
You're
Never
right,
gonna
you're
get a
right.
company at the price that we have now. That was part of the
I
problem.
know, but also if you look at what we're paying Spencer, paying for Spencer and then paying for all the plant replacements and whatever, the things that are dying and that are not under warranty and we're still paying, there's a lot of ancillary things that are getting thrown into the overall cost of landscaping that might be, that if you pay a little bit more upfront, you're saving money in the back.
Well, and honestly,
I can't say that for sure, but
how the
that would be the-
community
that would be the
looks
hope.
is integral to our property values. We
Yes.
had that
Yeah.
discussion with respect to the ponds. And yeah, I guess I'm feeling a sense of urgency is what I want to convey to you.
You definitely don't want to switch in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
No.
No,
we wouldn't,
but there's,
we wouldn't be able to
but there's
if
a
we wanted
fair
to.
amount of work that has to be done. And
Yeah.
Plus, if maybe we just hold on this landscape plan, and because if we don't install now, before the rainy season, I'm not doing that again.
yeah,
Because that was a
Right.
disaster.
Right.
Last time when we planted, everything started to die right away because there was no
Yeah.
water. So it was
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
yeah, so we have to have that discussion when we
Yeah.
get to that topic, which is we either pull the trigger now or we basically put it on hold for quite some time.
we do have to get rid of that foxtail that's diseased though, right? We
Yes,
have that hanging around.
That's easy. We can.
well, that whole hedge out here, excuse me,
Time.
right here in the, you're talking about the one right outside the door
Talking
here,
about the triple foxtail that's diseased, yeah.
and that hedge.
The oleander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah, okay.
anyway,
Right.
lots to do.
You're
Yeah,
brilliant.
not enough money.
You definitely
Not
took the
enough
short
money.
straw.
I know.
That assignment.
But if we spend it wisely, we might get better results. And that's,
Fair point.
But are you willing to pay more than what we're paying, Rich?
yes, because I think we could save money in the long term because we're paying for a lot of replacement stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And if it's better maintained, looks better, our property values are better.
I just want you to remember you said that.
That's why I asked them.
Because we're gonna have not only a gap in the monthly price, but we're gonna have a gap in the intro. I mean, no
Correct.
company is gonna come in
No.
here and go,
No.
there is
There's
gonna be an
gonna have to be
upfront
a
cost.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
it's
I'm,
going to-
I mean, okay, I deal with contractors all over the country, I do work, yeah, 'cause I've always found people to do cheaper work. But if they did cheap work and that's a problem, I wound up having to replace it. So you have to balance
Oh, yeah.
getting a
Yeah,
good
sure.
price, a fair price for good work, as opposed to the cheap price, which costs you the most in the long term.
Yep.
So,
I'm not doing arguing about that at all.
so.
either.
I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan of
Me
spending
three.
more, I'm not a fan of spending more money, but we're spending a lot of money for not getting what we think we
Just like
should
the
be getting.
ponds. We gotta,
Yes.
So we
It was
spend.
the pond,
spend-
yeah,
between-
exactly. The pond behind my house is the first time I could see that there's actually water in there.
I mean, what
It
is
actually cleared.
between
Yeah.
fertilizer, fertilizer, trimming and what are we paying Juniper? $500,000?
Less than-
600, okay, for six, okay,
I thought it was 4 something. Anyway, I don't remember.
okay.
anyway.
Okay,
So that's a lot of,
A lot.
so we're paying a lot of money
CFO.
for everybody here walking around going, this does not look very good.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So Andy, we talked about needing a legal notice to
I'm glad I'm here.
Juniper. Yeah, your
Just in
timing was
time.
perfect.
time, yeah.
Okay.
And follow up to the 2 notices they've had, because the inspection report keeps getting longer. They're chasing their tails right now is what's happening.
So is this is not just another, hey, heads up, we're terminating?
No, this is a real heads up. This
Oh.
is a, well, this is a kind of like, we need responses and we need action and we need correction now, or we will move to termination.
Otherwise, yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of what your last one said, but
Belinda, I think, was the last.
we want this one to come from you and to be, yeah.
And to request the manager, given the names of the managers, Cheryl.
Scott Carlson and Kyle Levitt,
Levitt.
I think. I'll get it for you. I'll get you the name.
Okay, yeah, if you get me some of the information, and obviously the deficiency reports and such. we'll
And
be
also,
letting
and
them
also
know.
request them to come to a meeting, for discussion, because I think we should have that discussion. I'm not looking to throw them out, I'm just looking to get what we're paying for.
Well, maybe what we do is as part of the, would it be possible, Andy, as part of the notice to identify a board date where we ask the people we're sending it to appear, to have a discussion
Sure,
about,
I mean, that's your choice, absolutely.
maybe that's what we need, what's gonna happen.
So what, so,
Well, June, well, that's the, we don't wanna do it on
we have no choice.
We can
budget
go-
day.
No, but we can go to July, I mean, this doesn't have to happen.
Yeah,
I would rather do it sooner than later, because if it continues to get worse, it's gonna,
But we
people,
can't change in
Yeah,
summer anyway.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll
We
really.
just keep
no,
counting.
not change, but at least get their attention, so maybe they get the people here
Well,
to
I
actually
think
do
we'll
that
have,
job.
I think we'll have their attention, it's just a matter of when we can do it along with budget and everything else.
One thing, a tool that I'm sure hasn't been utilized yet, I've done this with other communities, is if we, get them to fill out a sheet, let's say, how many people how many crews, how many people are in your crew, what is staffing this? We can back in to how much that should cost, right? So if, let's say there's
Okay.
50 hours a week of labor happening a week, that at least they're saying that's what it takes. That's what we want to know, not necessarily what's actually happening, but what they believe it takes. We can make some assumptions based on labor, burden, margin, and calculate ourselves, like, well, if it takes 50 hours a week or 100 hours a week, whatever it is, our annual maintenance fee should be close to this for them to
Okay.
have a 35% margin and stay profitable. If we do that math and it's like 5% margin, you're like, well, of course they're gonna be shaving everywhere we go, because how else are they gonna make money? If we can do our own little workshop, and like I've done this for other communities, that's a really powerful tool to go into negotiations, pre-RFP.
We
Probably isn't gonna happen until July.
We
Plus you-
also have, I don't mean to
no,
interrupt,
go, you go.
but we also have, I don't have a contract in front of me, but we also have options available to us in terms of withholding money and hiring other vendors to do work that they're doing subpar. We have options that are in the contract.
Because what I would, and I'm sure I would imagine you know this, that, if they're telling us it's X number of crews and X number of hours, I imagine you're gonna have a sense of whether that's enough or it's unrealistically low in order to bring in the bid low. Because that's the concern I have, is that we're signing up for X, but really, it's not really giving us something that's gonna be sufficient to bring the property to the level we think it should be at.
Yes, you would come to that after you go through the process, right? So I can think I have an idea of what it takes, but what I'm looking for is if all the math checks out, right, we're like, wow, this is actually a great number, you guys are making money, oh, it still looks horrible, okay, you're giving me the wrong numbers, what I mean? We gotta pump this up a little bit.
Okay.
It's a process, it's not necessarily a difficult process, it's all very basic math, but a few conversations are needed.
Okay.
But a simple way to look at this, if this was not profitable to Juniper, they would have walked away from it. They would not have signed a new contract, and they could have terminated. They could have just walked away. So they are making money.
Yeah, they're
Juniper
probably
has private equity though, so they have to report a certain amount of revenue. There's different incentives besides just clean business. It's also, does my financer in New York approve?
Oh, okay,
Right.
gotcha.
You know what I mean? Are we profitable?
Uh-huh.
Am I putting I used to work for Bradbury for years. We did all sorts of spreadsheet games, work in progress and this and that on paper, it looked like things were good. So there's a lot of incentives at the executive level to make it appear like this is profitable, even if it means slashing services secretly or even unintentionally through just labor shortages to achieve that number.
Okay.
And I do think I know he's got crews in here, but something is amiss, because if Sergio's pulling the weeds out there, and he had a crew here, that made I was happy he did it, don't get me wrong, because I was really ticked off about that roundabout.
Yeah.
But on the same token, I'm like, why are you out there?
Why is the manager?
The question is also, who are the guys that they're hiring? Are they trained, are they really landscapers, are they guys that?
Probably not.
contract,
They're not
yeah.
landscapers, they're crew.
The crews, are the crews that they just got that day, are the crews that have been working for 6 months, have those crews been trained on what to do?
You don't dig yourself into a hole trying to,
Figure that out.
there's no solution, that's a much broader labor market question.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just gonna say, by the time this letter goes out, if you give them at least a month to respond, we're kind of looking at the 29th. Is that right? No.
Well, we've got
Fourth
meetings
Monday of
on the 8th and 22nd of June, and in July, we've got meetings on the 6th and, no, sorry,
Are we gonna have a meeting on the 6th?
You wouldn't. anyway.
No, I'm sorry, it's the 13th.
13th,
And then
yeah, I
27th.
know why I should
We
have.
could do the 13th
Well, give them both dates, because they may not, July,
of July.
and you don't want to even try for June?
Well, they're not even gonna have a month if we do the 22nd.
Right.
Well, you could ask them, I mean, you can give them that date.
Well, I'm also gonna be on the phone on the 22nd. I would kind of like
Okay.
to have my body
That-
present.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no,
Yeah.
that,
Me too.
that,
Yeah, Ken will be on the phone on the 22nd too.
I will not be here on the 13th, but probably Dan will be here to cover, so I'll prep him.
Okay.
Just so
Okay.
you know.
You're in the driver's seat, Cheryl.
I mean, I would say the 13th, because then that
Mm.
Yeah, I
gives
got
us,
29th.
of what?
got you not disappointed at 13th.
No, I'm talking about doing it on July 13th.
Oops, I'm sorry.
So if we do July 13th, then, because that also says, we expect them to be here on the 13th to have a discussion, and we expect to see improvements.
Between now and then.
Yeah, they're not gonna wanna
Yeah.
walk in without having.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly, but
Right,
it gives them a
right.
little more
Okay.
time to get the.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm thinking the 13th.
Okay, July 13th, okay. Are you here that day,
And then Spencer, hopefully you can be here too.
Is it a board meeting or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah, I'll probably have Dan, but I'll make sure he's prepared.
All right. I know I talked a lot. Any more questions?
So helpful, it's always so helpful.
Very
Thank you
helpful.
so much,
Thank you,
Spencer.
Spencer.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Don't blush, Spencer.
Exhausting, but we're here.
Good morning. All right, District Engineer Rick, good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
Good morning. The sidewalk repairs, they're still out here. They were here Wednesday through Friday last week, cleaning up a bunch of stuff, but there's still more work to be done. I traded some texts with him today, and he's still trying to figure out when he's going to finish up. I see out by the golf course there what he's torn out.
That wasn't us.
Oh, that was irrigation.
That
That
was
was
irrigation?
That was the golf course. Tore the sidewalk out.
But that was where we were planning to tear stuff out.
Well, right, but that's not us. The golf course got a backhoe because they have like 10 leaks going down
Yeah.
and they tore out that sidewalk for no reason. Because the irrigation pipe is that far from the sidewalk, but they tore it all out and they're trying to get a hold of A&J now to come back in and repair it.
Okay.
So,
Well, we had repairs planned right there. The roof was really bad.
Very bad there.
And it's raised it up, so we were gonna have them trim
Save us money there.
So,
Save us money.
but yeah, I will follow up with A&J. What's that too.
yeah, let's just make sure that they get the bill to the golf course for that 20-foot section that they tore out.
Well, we were planning to reduce some of that,
Yeah,
so.
but they did it.
But they did it.
Oh, there's still more there. Well, and
Okay.
Joe will attest, that's a pretty bad corner.
Mhm.
That section's right in there.
Every day.
Do you have the contacts with the course? So I can just talk to you. Okay. On the signage, the contract was prepared. It takes some time to get the materials. I'm trying to find out when. And that's mainly a replacement of a lot of the old signages and all that. So that's underway. I don't have the schedule yet on that. And then the next thing is the manhole repairs. I know there was some discussions about that. Last meeting I was at was that really long meeting, and I guess I should have mentioned the two bids that I got, because I tried to get bids to do 10-foot around the manholes, and nobody would give me anything. So I got two One of them said they'll do the 10 by 10, the other one said they'll do 7 by 7. Prices were $750 for each for the smaller, $1250 each for the bigger.
The big one.
And the reason is they have to bring in the bigger mill, the bigger paver to do the larger areas. So I'll take the blame on that for not sharing that with you guys, but that's kind of how that happened.
So we
Yes.
paid $500 per manhole cover less because it's a smaller patch?
It
Was
out of the two
$750 instead of-
bids that I actually got, one was $1250, one was $750. And we
Gotcha.
went with the $750.
So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay,
$500 or less.
so there is some concern about some of the ones on Pissarro are nice and square. There's a couple on Portofino that are zigzaggy on the edges.
I saw that
Can
too, I
they
just
fix,
drove through.
are they gonna fix that?
I'll have to reach out to them to ask them. I know it will fade.
Right.
I mean, it'll probably take a little
Yeah, but even if fade, it's still gonna be, you're still gonna see those cuts no matter what. It just looks terrible. I mean, you can't just say, oh, it'll fade, oh, this will grow, something like that. It's just not an acceptable way to do business. If you're gonna do a 7 by 7 area, that's a square. You don't just do whatever fits your fancy and leave it at that. Like I said, we have $1 billion worth of real estate here, and that looks like something from the inner city.
Yeah, Dan went out there, measured them up, and we got, the average of like 9 by 9 is what we got, so we got more than a 7 by 7, but yes, I did see that when I was out there.
Could you have them come back and just see what they can do?
I can ask him to, yes, yeah. So, okay, and, I do have one more thing,
Okey-dokey. Thank you.
And going forward, Rick, can you send us stuff in advance, please?
What? Oh, well, it's,
Okay.
well, I for one am very sad.
Me too. I
Well,
am
Me three.
very sad.
I know, Rich, you and I are alike. I know we try to make your money go as far as we possibly could. And, and I applaud you for that, but it really made my job tough. I know when we're trying to get staff to do some of the stuff that I would have done, so Keith and I are trying to figure out, okay, who does what, who does this, who does that. So, and again, my wife is trying to get me to cut back. And so I think it's time. So, but I'll stay around as long as you need me to get somebody else in. Be happy to share, because I got a lot of knowledge. I've been your only engineer since the community was
Yes.
built, so I got
Yeah,
a lot
said that today.
of knowledge. These guys know how to get a hold of me, and again, I'm not going anywhere. I just think it's time.
What if we don't accept it?
That's a good question. What if we don't accept your resignation?
I don't think he's in Sweden.
We have to talk to your wife?
That might be a problem.
I would have to clear it with the wife. Next month, I'm taking 3 weeks off. We're flying out to Scotland to play
Good
golf.
for you.
And I've never done that.
Good
That's
for
the kind of
Make
stuff.
sure you get a golf towel from every golf course.
Yeah, we're playing 5 of them.
Oh, wow.
We're playing 5 of them.
Very
Playing St. Andrews Old, Carnoustie, Royal Dornage, Castle Course at St. Andrews Castle. We're also going to spend time in Edinburgh and London. We've never done that. And it's a point in my career that I think I need to start needing to do some of that kind of stuff.
So we can maybe chat after you return from your trip,
Yeah.
and your wife may say, go work harder. No, I'm just kidding.
When's
Somebody has to pay for all that trip,
That's right,
right?
that's right.
When's your trip?
I think we leave the middle of June, and I'm there for not quite 3 weeks.
You'll be ready to come home after 3 weeks.
More likely.
I'm sorry that you feel this way.
I am very sorry you feel this way
Well,
as
I
well.
am 68 now, so I'm getting up there. I don't feel
Well, that's
that.
ancient.
Yeah, you don't look that either.
And I wasn't pushing you to do this, Rick, I was just pushing for communication and.
I understand. And I almost felt guilty spending the extra time because I know that, we did work that I'd just come one meeting per month, but it's something I still felt guilty
Understood.
spending the extra time. So,
Well, as a board, we need to have some discussions as well. So can we say received but not accepted, and we'll talk in July?
that's fine.
Well
Thank
put.
you.
And
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
We'll table it.
just so procedural wise, everybody needs to make their own decisions, of course, but just procedural wise, just so you know, if we do have to look for a new engineer, we have to follow formal RFQ
Yeah, I
process.
understand.
We can't just hire somebody else or whatever.
Based on that though, there's not a timeline that we have to do this. Like, we can wait, there's no rush. We
I
can
mean,
wait
you
for Rick to come
You need
back.
engineering services. Rick's already said he's not gonna leave you in a
Okay,
lurch, so.
okay.
I'm not-
All right,
But other than that, no.
okay, cool, thank you.
The statute doesn't say you gotta do it within 5 days.
Okay.
2 weeks, or-
Okay, perfect.
But it does say that you can't just jump to
Sure.
a new team. You
Right.
have to go through a formal
Right.
process.
Sure.
So thank you for actually agreeing to not leave us in a lurch.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Appreciate that.
I've enjoyed it, and I like what I did do, that's why I'm still here.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't like it, I would have been gone a long time ago, but for one, I don't think my wife could put up with me 24/7, but, so, just kind of working to me keeps me young.
Well, and 68 is the new 50.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Are you retiring or scaling back?
Skimming back. Yeah. I have not taken a new client in 3 years because I don't want that kind of stuff. I don't like to go through the permitting efforts and CDD, the engineering. Most of that is maintenance, so I don't have to deal with a lot of the municipalities and the headaches associated with that. So, but yeah, I'm cutting back, but mainly just CDDs. I'm not taking on any new kind of work. I've got 10 CDDs that I do. Some of them are very little effort, very little effort. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for me?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Have a good vacation.
Yeah, enjoy your time off.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Don't eat any haggis though, it's disgusting.
That's good.
Don't eat any haggis.
Good tip.
If they try to feed you something called haggis,
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
It's got a lot of parts in it you really don't want.
Oh, yeah, it's dangerous. Okay.
Andy, did you have anything to report?
Yes, I have a few items. Let's see, let me start with, we talked in past meetings, and then we sort of punted after a note from Mr. Jasper about the Swift mud permit. Has to do with the golf course. And to give us an opportunity to speak with David Jackson from my office, which I did. And so we reviewed it together. David's suggestion is still that, it had always been to try and get the golf course to come into compliance before we made a stink about getting onto the permit. But as we talked it through, I think maybe we should dial that effort up a little bit. So perhaps a letter to the golf course to tell them to get their reporting caught up, and if they don't, that we will reach out to SwiftMud and point out the fact that the reporting is way behind. And then once the reporting is caught up, we can get back on as the co-permittee.
Andy, they told me that they had provided all the data.
Well, if they have,
It's not
it's
on the website.
not there.
I had heard the same thing,
It's not where.
Ken. I had
Wherever
heard the same thing.
David is checking with SwiftMud.
Okay,
Yeah, I think, I don't recall, I think maybe I just sent, I don't know whether I sent everybody the link
And
or
if it
just
is,
you, but it
that's
wasn't
great.
there.
I'd love them to say, no, here it is, we're all caught up.
Yeah, because that's how I originally
So
found
I
out.
wonder if there's a
That's what Richard
disconnect.
His the only response he got from them was, okay.
If he's got information in that regard, I mean, that's awesome. The last thing we want to do is,
It may not be in the report format that they look for, but he couldn't get that out of them. He couldn't get any response from them.
so are we saying that if they have evidence they can show us, I'm just talking out loud right now.
Yeah.
If they have evidence they can show us that they're all caught up, whatever caught up means in SwiftMud's.
But
He showed
maybe
me-
that's what your letter needs to say. Either you need to catch up, or if you have, provide the evidence that you've caught up.
Yeah.
So that we can move to the next step.
Yeah,
He'll-
because-
He'll provide you the spreadsheets.
That'd be great.
That they sent.
I mean, if they've done it, that's what we want,
He claims they have.
Okay.
I still
And,
think it needs.
and I
to be
saw,
revised.
I saw multiple emails where he sent them requests on asking for the report formats, and he said we just wouldn't get answers, calls would not get answered. It sounded like, unless he's giving me a line, that he made extensive efforts to reach them and kept getting no response.
I will do, if it supports direction, I'll do a letter. It will be very nice. I'll say something along the lines of what Cheryl just said, which is, it looks to us like you're not caught up, but we have heard that you perhaps are, and if you're not, catch up. If you are,
We need,
please
yeah.
provide us
Yeah.
evidence of it.
Does he know who the right contact is at SwiftMud that they should be talking to?
He may, I can ask him.
Would you please? Sure. Because they've tried multiple people.
The SwiftMud website has all that stuff there. I've spent quite
I mean, a
some
lot of
time
people have
going there.
changed since David used to work there, I'm sure, but he may have some
I
idea.
mean, that's how the whole thing started, I was talking to Jerry Jasper, and we went to the SwiftMud website, and the stuff wasn't
Yeah,
there.
I saw it at the same
So,
time.
yeah, so,
He's got a spreadsheet, he showed, I saw. I've
That's
seen it.
fine. So who am I writing to at the golf course?
Jay Pittman, J-A-Y. Jay,
Can you just flip me his contact info later today or whatever?
Okay.
All right, so that's that issue.
Mhm.
An update on our Vesta litigation. Rich has been kept in the loop, but they're served. They have counsel that has made an appearance, Holland and Knight Law Firm, so they're gonna be, looks like anyways, dialing up, response. They asked for an extension, which was granted to them, so their response to our complaint is due June 19th, so 8 days from now.
which one is this?
The Vesta litigation,
Oh, right.
so we'll certainly keep you posted.
June 19th?
Yeah.
You said June 19th,
Yes.
so that's not,
Oh, right, this is not June. June 19th. June 19th is when their response is.
Okay.
Juneteenth.
so they were given a long time, they were given a long extension,
Maybe it's May, I wrote down June.
because they were supposed to, because they were served on April 9th, they were supposed to file by April 19th.
I may have written down the wrong date,
Okay.
but they were given an extension, and whatever the response is due, I will flip it to you.
Sounds good.
Great, thank you.
One of the things we worked on, I don't know, Belinda, if you have any input on this, was the fence contract. We had prepared it, the vendor had some potential
Great.
changes that they wanted. We agreed to some and not to others. You were gonna flip it to them. I don't know if you got a response yet or not.
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
We're actually having a call this afternoon. They accepted all of the revised terms that Carla sent over.
Okay.
Great.
And then we did talk about the commercial auto, given that they do have the extended
The umbrella.
umbrella, they're fine
Yes.
with what what you replied with. So we should have the signed contract ready for Jill to execute
Great.
hopefully today or tomorrow.
Okay, so that's an update on that. One of the items you asked me to take a look into was the Alliance IT. There's a number of emails. Greg did a bunch of work.
Yes,
I was on an email train with Jill,
yes.
keeping Rich informed as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but I believe that we arrived at the conclusion there is no contract, that it's month to
It's
month,
month to month.
and that, Hampton has worked it out with them to cancel what can be canceled, but they need to keep them on a little bit for some licensing and such.
My, 365.
Microsoft Office.
Okay,
So I think that's the end result on that.
And Rich confirmed that he had all the data that he needed.
Yes, and we, at the same time, had exchanged emails with Michael Prohibney, your litigation counsel.
And the savings monthly, Greg, on that is,
Over $2,000.
wait, I thought the
Well, I
bill
shouldn't say
was
over
$2,000.
$2,000. Part of it's the Microsoft.
right,
I think the Microsoft was between 4 and 6, so right around 2,000.
So we're doing the licensing for 365 through Alliance IT is what you're saying?
They still hold our
Yes.
365
And,
license.
and what's the term on that?
That's a good question. The IT guy, Steve Geigerson from Geiger Vision, who represents Hampton, was on the call with the gentleman from Alliance. And they had the discussion about what needed to be held and for how long.
Yeah, okay, so that has nothing to do with data retention, this is just the licensing itself.
Correct.
Are there any opportunities, does Hampton Golf overall use 365 and can we piggyback on that license and make it a little cheaper?
That's an interesting question, and I'll ask Steve that.
Okay, because company license is what I'm thinking,
yeah.
not much
Yeah.
different than what we used to do.
Right.
One of the anomalies about Hampton is with all the different properties, they do different things at different places. For example, our operating system for POS, Jonas Encore, we're the only property in the entire. But for Office 365, it may be different, but that's gonna be a Steve Geigerson call.
I would like to know that information.
Yeah, I'll ask Steve.
Yes.
Midday, okay.
So.
And you're saying about $250 a month for that 365 license? Is that what you said?
I'll look it up.
Okay, thanks.
The monthly statement that we were paying through Alliance was about $2,400.
Okay, so you're saying about $400 a month. It's business license.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, it is.
Let me circle back. Rich and I were just looking, it looks like, Mike Prohibney said mid-May for best
Oh,
response.
okay.
Oh,
I-
good.
I had written that down
That's
wrong,
up next week.
apologize.
This week,
Next week,
this week.
it's only next week, it was April 19th, and then it was supposed to be April 29th, and they got a 20-day
Oh, I
extension.
see,
They got a
okay,
20-day
that makes
extension, so
sense.
20 days from the 29th is whatever.
And,
Okay,
and I had written down June.
fine, thank you.
And then the final item is what's in your agenda package, which,
Yes.
as you know, every year we have CPI built into our engagement correspondence.
Yeah.
Our rate currently is 310. It will, starting October 1, it will go to 317.
Okay.
I'm glad to answer any questions.
No, I'll make the motion that we accept the proposed rate increase.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
One other question.
Yes.
You may have told us this, but have we brought to conclusion all of the investigation with Aegis and insurance coverage between us? And
Yes, I believe so.
so there's
There's
no opportunity for us to cut anything back?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We have what we have. Right? Unless you tell me otherwise, but I believe that's the case.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Greg, do you have anything to report?
Just that we had a good Mother's Day, Memorial Day coming up, and the condensation pump for the AC unit over the locker room is scheduled to be installed tomorrow. It's something that unit has never had, but that should hopefully help with the flooding and the leaking in that area. And other than that, until we talk about it, not really.
Has the kitchen been fixed? The AC over that?
I wouldn't say that it's been fixed, it's being scoped and looked to see what repairs can be done. The gentleman who's doing the install tomorrow is supposed to look at it from IC Mechanical.
about replacing the condensation pan, and I'll get a final answer on what I've been told is there's not space to put a condensation pump, but I'm getting a different opinion tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, we had done the contract, so I know you must have to work on that.
Oh, that's different.
Okay.
That's for the two AC handlers that are in this room up there and the other banquet closet. Adam, you're right, we finished the contract last week for that, and Adam is looking to schedule for those two things. I'm trying to get it done before Memorial Day. But as you can feel, this one seems to work pretty good.
apparently,
Yeah, it sure does.
just put my fur coat back on.
We even take a break on that.
Yeah, I'm ready for a break as well.
Yeah, me too.
Then when we come back with, maybe we can talk
Yeah, again,
numbers.
5 minute break.
Okay, so we are going to go off the PM. Greg, did you have anything else to report?
No, I'm good on my reporting part of it.
Any questions for Greg?
Other than budget and.
Other than budget and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions? No? Greg, for Greg, any?
We're just gonna, other than this, I think.
We can lead right into this if that's where we're at.
Mhm.
All right,
That'd be great.
so,
You want me to pass one?
yeah, what I think the importance of looking at either forecasts for the rest of this year or budgets for next year, and I know there's been a lot of back and forth about timing, and people have asked me what my recommendation is and what my proposal is. And I've thought about this a lot for the last 3 or 4 months. Ultimately, so before you, I'm gonna pause for a second what I was saying since you've all got the paper.
Yeah,
I want to preface that paper saying that is nothing final. That is what I've been doing on the back end. What will be put into play once we get some of the questions, like final determinations on hours of operations, expectations, how it'll affect the amenity, how it'll affect the services provided to the residents. Cheryl just made a comment about what a great experience she had on Saturday when she picked up the phone and called and had a sushi platter made on Saturday. So when I get asked the question, what do I recommend for the community and the hours of operation and the food and beverage? I guess if I looked at it from a 30,000-foot level, my recommendation would be to manage the budget to the amenity. Take a look at what the amenity is and then figure out a way to make the budget happen. Take a look at what the residents want, what the expectations are. But I do feel like it's a little bit the other way around. I think what we're about to talk about is managing the amenity to the budget. And all the conversations about, I think it should be 55%, I think it should be 52%, I think it should be, all of that is kind of, to me, the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah.
I think really what we need to determine, and this is what will be very valuable to me, and you can see how I run into a brick wall when using a template like this. So we have an IT specialist, a data specialist with Hampton named Elliot. So Elliot and I have spent hours on the phone, and he put together a very customized, this is a template that I've used at clubs in the past. So what Elliot did that changed my template a little bit is he put a lot of tied in formulas. So as we change one area, whether it's the tiki or the restaurant, whether it's the front of the house or the back of the house, tied all those different things in. So when you look at the very bottom left portion of the page.
Is that 68 or 88?
Again, I want to say, don't get this, these numbers are in the middle of a work in progress. Those are just 6811 is the number, but that's based on this schedule and these hours. As the schedule changes, as the hours change, as the days that were open change, it all flows through to the bottom line number. So this is where I go back to what I just opened with, is managing the budget to the amenity or managing the amenity to the budget. Well, both is right, but both is balancing it. It's a balancing act. So clarifying and understanding, and we've had a lot of conversations both privately and in the board meetings and the committee meetings about what to do and when to do it and how to do it and when should we have lunch and should we close lunch and should we be open on Saturday. And all of those things, once I nail down with the assistance of the board and the social and dining committee, exactly what the wants and needs are, and I can give you some insight as to certain things. For example, if the expectation is to keep lunch open at the tiki during the summer, then we should just keep lunch inside open too.
Even with the slimmed down menu though.
Even with the slimmed down menu.
But I thought with the slimmed down
No,
menu.
and let me just say this. During season, it's different because the revenue goes 4 times more. With a slim town menu and only 35,000 overall F&B revenue during the off season, this is why it gets complicated. And oftentimes there isn't just one set answer, whether it's the middle of July or the middle of December makes a ginormous difference on the size of the menus. It doesn't matter what menu we put out in June, July, August. It looks like to me from historical data, it's minimal. So the revenue isn't gonna be affected that much during June, July, the payroll isn't gonna be affected nearly as much as when all of a sudden we have 60 coverage for lunch versus the middle of August, we have 2. Same thing with the size of the menu. It doesn't matter how big of the menu is, if you're only doing $300 a day, that's kind of what you're stuck with. But that's not the way it is during season.
And when, it's a question that just occurred to me, I should have asked this when you and I have been talking about this. Does this take into account, there is within F&B a base cost of non-revenue generating activities that they do, moving things around, et cetera.
There is.
Is it contained in this somewhere? There is a cost to that, we all know.
It is, and that's in our current payroll. For example, the room we're sitting in.
Yeah.
This is not what it looked like yesterday.
Right.
And at the end of the shift yesterday, the same thing with Il Pranzare over there, and
Right.
the same thing with the table set up for the cards that'll happen today and
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
It is all absorbed in the F&B operation with no revenue associated.
Exactly.
And also, when you look at these numbers, you also have to add in about another 15% to cover benefits and all the other stuff, so that.
100%.
Yeah, this is wages only.
This is wages only.
so,
And
yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
I gotta say it again because it's worth saying, please don't look at these numbers as
Right.
anything other than me playing around with this, making sure these are not accurate numbers. What I want you guys to get from this is once we nail down, are we open? Now I think this leads right into the next part of the conversation. I think there should be 2 different schedules. One is for in-season, one is for off-season.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk first about whichever one you want. We can talk about in-season or off-season. Since we're coming up on off-season, and I'm about to send out a note to the residents about hours of operation after Memorial Day, I think we could start there. So going to Monday and Tuesday, right now, currently we have the beverage service open at the Tiki, 5.5 hours a day. My suggestion for off-season is closed. What do you guys think about that? No beverage service, no food service?
I still have a question. So
Yes.
I'm going back to a conversation we had a couple months ago.
Sure.
My understanding and from what you told me was that if we go to, say, Saturdays, we don't have dinner. If we do, let's just use that one day.
Sure.
If we do no lunch in here, no dinner, and we just have a limited tiki menu that is grill only, that you cut back of house down to essentially one cook. Although you can have a line cook. You
Yeah.
use all paper products. You don't need a dishwasher. You still need a runner.
Yep.
But that would cut this down significantly. So I don't understand the comment that
During-
you just made
Yeah.
about you might as well just do lunch in and out because.
Out of season, off season. Because if you're only doing $1,000 a day, food and beverage in the off season, at least 50% of that is liquor, beer, and wine. So we're talking about $400 or $500 a day. That can easily be done with one, and if we're gonna be open at the Tiki, the only additional cost for having lunch inside during the off season would be one server. And the server's pay rate is $11, $12 an hour. It's not inconsequential, but it's much less substantial than, I would say it's always gotta be two cooks in the kitchen. One can be Brian, but one can be a cook, and it's always gotta be at least one food runner. So the food runner has a 40% higher pay rate than a server, and a cook in the kitchen is about double from a server. So, and if it's 2 cooks, now it's 4 times the cost of a server. During the off season, we can handle, if we're gonna be open for lunch out there, I'm gonna say a minimum number, 1 runner, which isn't a lot, especially with the distance, and 2 cooks. So if you're gonna do that during the off season, we're not talking about a huge incremental difference in the amount of dollars spent on labor to have 1 server, because I wouldn't have a bartender.
But then you're still talking a tiki menu inside.
You can do it that way.
Because if you go back to the big menu, then you have to have more.
Correct.
Yeah, just to-
The
And
tiki
then you
menu is
serve
big. We could
right.
absolutely
So-
do just the tiki menu inside.
just
So
for,
let me just
Yeah,
finish
let's-
my thought,
let's do it.
only because I'm gonna lose it. So this is helpful. So this tells
This was
me,
huge.
here's what I would like to this is where I need to get to.
Yeah.
I would love a revenue line,
Mhm.
right, for each day of the week, average revenue, whatever, just for the last few months.
Mhm.
And then tell me, if we went to no inside lunch
Mhm.
and tiki slim down menu for lunch hours, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever days you come up with, what changes on here? I need to see the net, that's where
That's
I,
why I need.
Well,
that's
that-
where you have to help
100%.
me
That's
get to,
where
because
I
what
think-
I think what I think I hear from you is a drastic difference, and what you're saying now is not so drastic, so I need to see it in writing.
Only in the off season, and I can do it in writing. And the tiki menu that's in play is the tiki slim down menu. So that is the menu that will be summer or off summer. The biggest variance is season or off season. And if our revenue changed by 20, 30, 40, 50, 80%, it would be a number that doesn't need to fluctuate that much. But our revenue changes by almost 400%. It goes from 35 to 130. I mean, the variance there isn't like an incremental one other body. It goes from 2 guys in the kitchen to 4 guys in the kitchen. It goes from 1 food runner to 2. It goes from 1 server in here to 2 servers and a bartender. So it's not just like, you know what I mean? So that's why I want to create 2 different mock schedules. Revenue is basically it's the revenue, I hear what you're saying, but the revenue is basically the same other than the shoulder months for 5 or 6 months. And it's very similar to the same for 5 months. So whether the revenue is 120 or 130, doesn't matter that much. But the difference between 120 and 35 is ginormous. So, and then the hours of operation, somebody mentioned it earlier about keeping the staff employed.
Yeah.
Because if we go to no lunch service in here, our hours go from what's on this at 39 hours for the clubhouse, which is our current hours of operation, 11:30 to 8, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and 9 to 2 on Sunday. That's 39 hours inside the clubhouse. If we go to closing lunch inside that clubhouse completely, it changes to 15 hours. The incremental difference at that many hours per day is 24 hours a month. Or I'm sorry, 24 hours a week. 24 hours.
I'm sorry,
a week.
I'm not understanding
That's
what you're
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
So I see a total of service hours right now, of total of 228 hours.
Okay.
Based on, hold on, let me finish my thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 front of house servers. And there, so are you saying that those 7 people will only have 15 hours a week?
No.
Or are you saying there's only gonna be 15 hours a week?
I'm gonna go back to what I said. Don't look at the hours and the servers in here. This is not an active current schedule. That's actually
But you
closer.
just referenced that one, Greg. You just referenced the 35 hours to, so I guess I wanna
I'm
understand
just
what you
saying-
mean by this.
What I mean by the 39 hours is the hours of operation were open. This schedule
The
right here,
clubhouse. The clubhouse is
clubhouse.
open,
11,
39 hours.
correct, 11:30 to 8,
Uh-huh,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 9 to 2, Sunday. That equates to 39 hours of operation. By closing lunch hours, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and opening for dinner at 5 o'clock,
mhm.
that reduces the clubhouse hours to 15 hours.
Dining room hours,
Dining room.
not
No,
clubhouse.
okay, dining room,
Okay,
yes.
Okay, just,
We're talking food and beverage.
yeah.
Just food and beverage.
Just go, okay, just to give, I ran the report, so just give you like so June, July, August, September last year, tiki lunch. 51 days worth, give or take, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday only. I didn't do Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
lunch for 4 months, $12,000 at the tiki,
So $3,000 a month.
$3,000 a month for lunch.
which is a couple $100 a day,
So,
which, you know,
but
It's
without,
not, it's a service, it's an
It's a
experience issue.
minute. So-
But can I go back to your comment, because
Please.
I think what you're saying, so right now, each server gets about 35 hours. If we cut out lunch, each server is gonna get 30 hours, if not a little bit less.
If not a little bit less.
That is, I think, the problem with longevity with our server staff is, can you live on 29?
Right, that's why I was asking, the 15 hours, I was trying to get
Yeah,
clarification
I
on
was
that.
trying to, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it drops them pretty significantly.
Right, and that's, yes.
And then when you go 30 hours, you lose your benefits. You potentially lose medical benefits.
So
Yes,
can we,
Belinda.
Belinda has her hand.
So
Okay,
I
yes,
put
Yeah,
this-
yeah, sorry.
I put budget discussion on your workshop agenda. Was this not covered during the
No,
workshop?
we didn't have this
No.
document.
Okay, so you are gonna cover this now, or is this something you're gonna cover during your next workshop?
We're just gonna trying to get some understanding so that when we go to our next budget workshop, we are better prepared.
Okay.
To clarify too, Belinda, in order to come to the next budget workshop meeting,
Mhm.
I need some clarification and some conciseness on because my personal recommendation would be to manage the budget to the amenity that we want. Cheryl just made a comment about Saturday, I picked up the phone. So how is it going to be amongst the community when on a Saturday, I'm sorry, there's no restaurant open? And to Rich's point, if it's only, even though it only is $4,000, whatever that limited number of revenue at the tiki lunch was during the summer, financially, it makes more sense to not be open. As far as an amenity to the residents who are here all summer and for the staff that we have, it makes more sense to absorb the expense during the off-season and keep the amenity, but manage the expenses as best as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So if the objective is to get down to 52%, and that's the objective, well, then we can do that. But how we have to do that is by closing the amenities, closing lunch, because we're upside down on revenue and payroll. It's just the way it
Well,
is.
we have to try, in my opinion, we have to try to do some of that so that by the time we get to the end of the fiscal year, we don't have a glaring
Right.
delta.
Mhm.
So I think there are two directors here. I think the first is we gotta try to get to the current equation. And then for me personally, for example, if we're talking about 55% F&B subsidy, I'd like to know what that's gonna get me, or saying it in the reverse, if we do X, what is the subsidy based on X?
Makes perfect sense.
I'd rather have the second item than the first.
Me too. So what I think that for the second item, what we can do is some of the things that will have the bigger impact and less impact on the community is moves like Saturday night. Let's take Saturday night out of the equation. I think closing the tiki bar is not the right thing to do, even though it's clear that it's an amenity and it's a subsidy and it's part of the subsidy. We can do that. We can keep the tiki menu only for the summer and even offer the limited amount of food service by having one server inside for the summer, two guys on the line during the day for the summer, to cut the labor significantly with 35,000 in revenue and not 130,000 in revenue.
Right.
But it's still going to absorb some of the labor. But the biggest impact items are not doing dinner on Saturday night, closing on Mondays and Tuesdays, going dark, and keeping the menu open for, here's a couple other things that I'm gonna suggest. Keeping the tiki menu only open for dinner until 5 or 6 o'clock and not until 7 or 8 o'clock. And then having dinner service inside starting at 5 o'clock. Similar to what we do now, other than Saturday night. Once we start pulling other things away from the amenity, I don't know that it's worth the savings for you as residents and people that are here all summer.
I think more people are eating outside than inside.
I agree.
Even in the heat.
I agree.
I think it's flipped.
In the summer?
In the summer.
In the
it's
summer,
flipped.
yeah.
And just like, okay, so last June, we did $4,000. So out of the 12,000, we did 4 months, 4,000 was in June. So July,
Wait
August,
a minute,
September,
4,000 what?
in sales at Tiki last year. So for
Total,
lunch, for
across
lunch,
all hours?
for lunch.
Lunch or all
hours?
Just lunch, just lunch. I could do lunch and dinner.
Well, I don't want to get
We
into,
don't have, we don't,
But I'm
so,
just saying, but lunch is not that big, dinner is better, last the tiki bar.
I think dinner is a better option at the tiki bar because, people come up or they have their cocktails in the afternoon and then they're hanging around the pool. They don't want to get themselves cleaned up to come in here. They want to have dinner outside.
So
Yes.
then I would suggest if we're not gonna serve food at the tiki during the day, which I'm fine with, that's a choice that we can make, is only opening for dinner inside and dinner at the tiki, like 4 to 7 or 5 to 8, or 4 to 8.
And now what are we doing with our staff?
That's a good, that's.
You're not gonna keep anybody with those
Correct. Well,
hours.
that's the other thing. Yeah.
That's the problem
But,
here is,
yeah.
yeah.
If we cut the hours to save the money, to make the percentage, the staff is the ones that work by the hours. So absorbing the expense in the off-season is a burden. But it's one of the reasons why we just don't have a core team of tenured staff.
Then obviously we want to keep the staff, we want to give them hours, and the other option would be to try to figure out how to generate some additional traffic by giving out specials like all the other restaurants in town do, to try to attract more people.
We run specials every day. One of the things we have to be conscientious about is not doing things that generate no revenue.
No,
But that's been a topic of conversation lately about doing certain events and gatherings.
No. If we're gonna have people.
But we have specials every day.
No, I'm saying, if we're gonna be open at the tiki bar.
Yeah.
Then make a happy hour special, half off for something, free, half off bottle of wine, half off this, something to get the people in. And
Let's stay on the logistics if we can, rather than the,
Question.
yeah.
that's how you keep it open.
Question.
That's not, it's less it doesn't make it profitable, Rich, to cut half off on your drinks or your food.
But if you make
So-
it 70% and if they don't show up.
Okay, can we not do revenue though? Because what
Yeah.
we have to talk about right now
That's-
is this, we're still.
Hours of
That's what I
operation.
wanted to get back to.
Hours of
So I
operation.
was gonna say, what do we need to keep the staff? We need 30 hours a week to keep the staff, right?
Well, 32 maintains full-time status.
Okay, and so the people that we have on full-time status,
Mm-hmm.
we need to fill that out. And then I hate to say it, but then we need to back into a schedule
Right.
for amenities to support us paying
You're right.
for
Right.
the
Yes.
staff.
Right.
So we don't wanna lose them, and so what are our hours of operation to accommodate this?
Certain numbers of staff. You're not gonna keep
Right,
100%.
right,
No.
yeah,
So
I mean,
you decide
Well, you
Decide
could-
who-
you can-
yeah.
focus on.
We can cut back the hours enough that we can keep close to 100%. We can draw back on the hours, because right now, a lot of people run 38, 40,
Yeah.
42 hours.
Yeah.
If we go down to 30, 32.
Yeah.
And the other thing that happens over the summertime that doesn't happen so much in the season is vacation. So when we have people gone for a week or two, you still carry it's PTO, but other people pick it up.
right,
So
Right.
back to Cindy, I think we're going down the right path here. Looking at hours of operation
No,
to
but
keep the staff.
to keep the staff, yes.
Right.
What are our operation to keep the staff?
And now I think
And
it's
then-
pretty clear cut because one person can't work the same shift twice, so.
Correct.
I get it.
It's right here.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we decide what kind of food service we want during those hours.
Well, because I think that's right, because that's the other piece, because A, it affects back of house, and B, it's
Correct.
got to affect COGS,
Correct, exactly,
right?
exactly. So if we can control things on the COG side, there won't be as much of a subsidy, right? So if we reduce the size of the budget, or I'm sorry, the size of the menu, to be able to somewhat accommodate the staff, then that will help on the COG side.
The COG side is honestly about 10%, 90%
Labor, oh, yeah.
Oh,
COG,
well, COGS, I'm talking food, just food.
that's what I'm
COGS.
talking to.
Okay, I don't know how
Yeah,
labor is
but if
COGS.
you've got a four-page
No,
menu.
well, cost of doing business.
I said, but I did cost of
But
goods
you
sold.
also.
I'm just saying the COGS,
You've got to maintain your back
the
house staff
impact.
too. If you get rid of
That's,
all-
yeah.
Right, right,
I didn't hear what you said.
gotta maintain back of
I
house.
said you need to maintain back of house too. If we cut the menu out, so don't, you only have one person in the kitchen.
No, it's not, you're right. And during lunch, I think it needs to be 2, and during dinner, it's 3 or 4.
We're saying get creative on the menu.
The menu, so I hear what you're saying, especially when it comes to, when I hear COGS, cost of sales, it's a little bit.
Yeah, I should say COGS.
costs.
Yeah, cost of sales is the percentage and the margin you make off the cost of sales and the margin.
Yeah.
The COGS, how much, you know what I mean? So when it's less, our COGS is gonna go down naturally because our
Right.
revenue is gonna go
Yeah.
down.
Right.
But the margin, the profit, the net operating income generated off the sales is 5% or 10% compared to the straight expenditure of the payroll.
Okay.
So affecting, and, you know, we don't wanna have a menu that's so high priced, we're running 20% food costs. I mean, our target margin on food costs is 52%. So it's, on the budget, we're running 52% on our food costs. The real impact we can have is really weaning down the schedule, scheduling as best we can to reduce the labor, because the labor is 100% outgoing and affects our NOI. So back to the hours of operation. Tiki Bar on a Tuesday. I know Rich said the revenue for 4 months is only $12,000, but if you're going to have, unless we're gonna shut down food service completely during the day, if you're gonna have food available at the Tiki, we're gonna have to have 2 guys in the kitchen. And just so you guys are on the same page with me, when we go back into season and the revenue goes up 400%, it's a different conversation about bodies. But for the off season, because the revenue is what it is, 2 guys in the kitchen, 1 bartender at the Tiki, and 1 server inside is all we need. And what I will do for our next budget meeting is I'll create a mock schedule with a dollar value on it based on these hours we're agreeing on today.
And when we're talking about these hours, are we talking about now, like next month, or? Are we
After Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's part
Because
of.
we have to make the change
Well,
for
we
off-season.
do, and I'm, yeah.
Just looking, June still seems to be decent. It seems to happen after July 4th. So maybe that's the cutoff, because June still seems decent enough.
So here's the thing, Rich, we're not talking about massive closings and changings at this point. I mean, really the biggest impact that I think is the Saturday night thing.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah, I
close
think
for
that's on
dinner
the
on
table.
Saturday night, we've got, in order for Brian to operate in the kitchen on Saturday night, it's no less than 5 or 6 guys in the kitchen. If Saturday dinner service closes and the Tiki Bar closes on Saturday at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, if the Tiki Bar is only.
Fully closed.
Well, beverages, alcohol only, food service. Remember, food service is what adds.
No, I get it. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
Yeah.
clarify for the record.
Yep.
What the hours are gonna be on Saturday at the Tiki Bar.
Yeah.
Let me clarify
Yeah.
the same, what do you want the hours to be at the Tiki Bar? Should the Tiki Bar be open? According to the revenue numbers, probably not. But as far as an amenity, my suggestion is, you guys, let's decide together what you want the amenity to be. We'll operate it as efficiently as possible. Are we going to get hung out to dry if we say no food service at the Tiki? I don't think that's the right answer. My suggestion would be to have food service at the Tiki every day. That would be my overall suggestion, and then support the amenity.
But we don't know what that's gonna cost. That's.
But I don't, you're right.
Yeah, so, but we can't make a decision until we see what the number is. So it's chicken and the egg. I mean, do we support the amenity and then have a $1 million subsidy? Or saying we can't do a $1 million subsidy, it's gotta be 500 something, and this is what we need to do to keep that. I mean, we have to understand what those two
We
are.
have to start with hours.
We do.
Because
You have
I
to.
Yeah, I
still,
agree.
I still say, looking at your schedule,
Yes.
if you close dinner service on Saturday, you don't have 1 server that's gonna be over 30 hours.
I don't know that that's true, because when you're looking at the schedule,
You're
How do
right.
You have,
And I
if
think
you
it's-
are, so if you operate without lunch in here, you're
Yeah.
talking about servers being on from 3 to 9, right?
one, is, if we're gonna be,
Just general schedule.
yeah,
3 to
general
9.
schedule, 3 to 9,
We're open 3 nights, right?
and Sunday brunch,
So that's
which
4
everybody
times
works.
6, that's still 24 hours.
Yep.
How are you gonna get people to be 30 hours?
That's a good point.
Okay, so when we're, that's it,
I'm just saying, I don't see how that, I
it's,
don't see it's gonna work.
it's not easy.
Well, how was it before we open Saturday night?
I don't know.
But we didn't used to be open Saturday night.
No.
We also had high turnover.
So how do
You also
We
have,
had higher
right,
turnover, is it
And
because
and contract labor.
some
Oh,
of
that's
these
right, we
guys
just
we're
went-
not gonna keep if they're not full-time staff.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I'm really
That's where my
struggling.
head's
We
at,
don't,
too.
we can talk about revenue till the
Yeah.
cows come home, it doesn't matter if we can't keep
can't
certain
keep the
staff.
staff, that's right.
So, all right,
But we have to look at what that does, unfortunately. So we, it's both those things, and then we have to find see if we can find a compromise. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna be, but yeah, we need to see what the revenue is gonna be, we need to see what the costs are gonna be, we need to see what the situation is.
Okay, so Rich, you have a pretty good idea what the revenue is gonna be. We have a historical data for the revenue.
Yeah.
The cost of staying open Saturday night to accommodate the staff to keep enough hours is not a bad decision. It just is a decision that you all have to make to support the cost of that. Now, I can take this and plug it in, being open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for dinner, and Sunday brunch only, with what I think is gonna be the right number of people, and I have that for our next budget meeting.
perfect.
Are you guys good with that? And knowing full well that every night, basically, but Saturday night especially, we're upside down on revenue and payroll.
And that to me is a different issue than we need to make sure this community knows we're open on Saturday and what are the specials that are gonna get them up here. Is
And
it
the
a
events.
special-
Yeah,
Right,
events,
right,
events,
right.
yeah, we
Yeah.
need things, we need things to draw the people.
This,
in.
I don't see that our way to success is by cutting. I see our way to success as building.
attracting?
I agree,
Yes.
which goes to the very first thing I said. I think we need to manage the budget to the amenity. And if the amenity is we're open on Saturday afternoon, we're open at the Tiki Bar for lunch, even if the staffing is minimal, we still get the hours. We're gonna do a quarter of the revenue that we do 6 months of the year and know going into it. But if we need to make massive adjustments for this year because of the addition to Saturday night and the increased labor expense that we've already incurred, then there's gotta be other decisions made for this current fiscal year. But for budget for next year, being open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday brunch, is probably the right way to go for this amenity. I think that's the expectation that people have gotten used to.
And could we, we're meeting on the 22nd,
Yeah.
and I think we agreed at the meeting last Friday, we would get the material, like a couple days in
Yeah, I'll
advance.
send it out a day or two ahead.
Yeah, just, I think on that one, I feel like I need, especially because the numbers are tiny.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my glasses.
Yeah, I know, and these are like my old ones, so
I
I'm
need,
going
yeah, we
with
need.
this.
And when you say the material, what I will give you before the next
Yeah.
meeting is the labor dollars
Mhm.
for off-season,
Can we get?
something, that filled out for two different things.
Yeah,
And I'm not-
in Excel.
Uh,
Okay.
It's good, yeah. Yes, you can modify it to change it into Excel. It's an Excel sheet, I think, so I won't send it as a PDF.
Yes.
Okay.
But if the expectation during the off-season summer is to have food available at the Tiki, that doesn't change much of the inside, but that helps me identify scheduling and labor dollars to suffice to keep people employed full-time.
Because it always seemed to me, and maybe it's overly simplistic, that if it's horrible out, i.e. it's so hot and humid nobody can stand it, or it's pouring, that, we can just operationalize that inside if that's the case, if it's nasty outside, but because I'm taking what Cindy and others have said to heart, that there is a fair amount of business outside, so I would think the hours could translate to the inside if the weather dictates.
I just had a thought. What will help immensely too is if we just trim back on some of the hours. Like right now, the Tiki's open till 8. During the
Yeah,
off-season, it
absolutely.
doesn't need to be 8.
No,
No,
The Tiki can be
7.
6.
No, people go for dinner, so you gotta make it 7. But if it closes at 6, then people
I
are.
don't disagree. I think it's, I think it's, what do we want the amenity to be?
That's right.
So we'll just operate on that
So
assumption.
then you're almost left to, maybe it's the number of full-time staff.
Right.
Maybe
Exactly.
We have only a core full-time and you move some of these people to part-time.
We
Yep.
do have, not everybody on that
That's what
list is
Ken was
full-time.
saying, yeah.
Guys, not everybody on that list is full-time. And even the hours that are associated with some of the names aren't the right names. So
Okay.
we just landed on something. 11:30 to 7 for the off-season for the tiki and the tiki menu. Okay? Clubhouse
that's
time,
Wednesday through.
Wednesday through
Saturday. Sunday.
Wednesday through
But
Sunday.
you're not gonna leave it open until 7 on Sunday.
No, well, Sunday it's currently is 6, so.
So exciting.
I
That's
would do
Wednesday to
Sunday, I would do
Saturday.
Sunday earlier.
I would too, 4.
Okay.
Four, Sunday before.
Sunday to 4? Okay. Very helpful.
It's a little bit, but it's also, you don't wanna leave people hanging out there by themselves, it's hot.
Well,
there's
the
nobody
other
else
thing to
that's
consider,
frustrated.
you might even want to consider 3, and the reason I say that is because we got the guys in the kitchen on Sunday for the brunch. Which I'm gonna talk to you next about, if I can
Fine.
shut the brunch down at 1 o'clock rather than,
Absolutely.
okay,
Yeah.
Should have always been
It's
that
actually
way.
rain
Nobody comes to
Make
the
sure
bar.
you have enough hours for the full-timers you want.
very good.
I think you have to start there almost.
I agree.
Because really the questions we'll be getting are gonna be on the tiki more than anything.
Yeah, 100% will be on the tiki, and I think we gotta think
Okay.
about the close time, but that's conversation for another day.
Well, but it is, but I'm also gonna put it into this proposal.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna schedule based on the proposal. My suggestion for Sunday would be at least to go to 5 and not 6. I see what happens here. I mean, occasionally I'll get people that'll come in at 5 minutes to 6 and want to order, but
You're
often
right. Most
oftentimes,
people are wrapping up their
it's a
weekend
ghost
by
town.
5 o'clock.
it's a ghost town. The
Because
same
we're up
thing-
here enough. Yeah,
So what are you saying, 11:30 to 5 on Sunday?
11:30 to 5 on
5.
Sunday,
on Sunday.
And Wednesday through Saturday, 11:30 to 8.
11:30 to 7.
7,
This is off season?
really?
Yes, off-season.
You wanna go to late?
Don't we go to 8 now?
Well, again, you guys remember, it's not the bartender that's out there. And yes, during the season, we have gone till 8. It's 3 other bodies. It's $50, $70, you know,
So this is off-season.
off-season.
Okay.
All right.
Just tiki for dinner, July 7th through September 30th. Full dinner tiki for all, so it's three months plus $7,000.
Yikes.
So
Yeah,
it's,
2,500 bucks.
it's more like, it's not even late lunch, it seems more like a late afternoon happy hour.
That's what
and-
happens though, then that's what I'm trying to say, is that most of the food people want later in the day. They're drinking earlier in the day, then they sit by the pool,
Have a snack.
3, 4 o'clock, they wanna have a snack. So I'm sorry about the frustration.
Let's just land on a number for budget purposes and go to the
Yeah.
rest of the
And
agenda.
yeah, that's a good way to do
Yes,
it, because then
thank
you'll
you.
see the number, and if you want to treat
Right,
the hours
exactly,
based on the
exactly.
number.
And it's 11:30, maybe we push 11:30 up a little bit, 12.
Whatever.
Well, I was gonna make it 11, because the busiest hour at the tiki every day is the
It's
11
11
hour.
o'clock
hour.
Because people are out there
That's
waiting
when
to
everybody's
order.
out there.
Right, that's a good idea.
So-
It's a good idea. Okay.
Dining inside. If the tiki's gonna be open for food at 11:30, it makes sense to be open inside at a body. This is,
Okay, well, put it in the proposal.
I'll put it in this
Yeah.
proposal.
That should be the starting budget, so we actually have
Right,
a.
we have some place.
Right,
we gotta
exactly,
start somewhere. We gotta
exactly.
land on something.
Yes,
Okay, for the off-season, do you wanna keep the dining room open till 8? Shutting off at 7, I think is a better
I
idea.
think that's
7 o'clock's
right.
perfect,
Yeah.
okay.
7:57.
Another thing to keep in mind with keeping staff, you can have them here, but if there's nobody here eating, they're gonna get nothing. in
They
tips.
get cut, you're right. They get cut and sent home. You can see the
Well,
fluctuations.
no, they'll get nothing in tips.
They get nothing in tips.
I understand. This is a different part of the conversation that we had. Yeah, I agree. So I don't think there's anything we can do for this season. Right now, I just want to get the hours of operation for this season, but this is what a topic that we just brought up at the last meeting. That is gonna have to be discussed again in work.
So if you change your dining hours, so you're talking about a 3 to 7 instead of a 3 to 9,
Mhm.
you're not gonna have any full-time staff. Yeah, I think you need to start with, you need to
Core
not have the discussion here,
Okay,
but figure out what your hours are to support at least whatever you need, 3 full-time servers, 2 full-time
Right.
servers, whatever it is. My guess is it's 3, but, and then
well,
go
it's,
back to,
and it's even more than 3, especially when you consider vacations and like the day we had on Mother's Day, or just even during season. 6 months of the year, it's 7 or 8 full-time servers. So to hire and fire and exchange people in and out like that, doesn't work.
But my comment is still, if you're only open for 28 hours.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna be full-time, because you can't work the same hours.
Well,
twice.
but they don't show up when we open and leave them.
I understand
Right.
that, but it's still, they start at 3. If you're closing it at 7,
Yeah.
that is
4
now
hours.
a 5-hour shift.
5-hour shift.
Yeah, 5-hour shift.
You,
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
I
I'm
get
worried
it.
about.
No, but we
So-
are open for lunch. Remember, it's 11:30. That we're gonna be open for lunch inside.
Off-season.
Off season.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't have.
If the
you can't have
TV's
three
open for
waiters.
lunch, it's one body.
That's what he said.
One full-time. Anyway, I just want you to start
I'm
with the
going-
hours and work into that, because I'm really worried about that.
All right, good.
So am I, and then not even just the hours, it's the service charge. They don't survive on the.
Right.
What's that?
Right.
I said that could be why Vesta filled in with contract labor to keep the people employed full-time, and then when they got busy, they filled in with contract labor in the busy seasons.
Yeah.
This way you had enough hours.
That's how they got their flexibility, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you either have to have a big stable of part-time casual labor, or you end up using contract. Yeah, I get that, but, you
And
know,
we do have a handful of part-time employees, and they're good with that. It's about filling the seats on the bench with a certain number of full-time and a certain number of
Right.
part-time,
Yeah.
knowing that the
Yeah.
season versus the off-season.
Okay, I like what,
On the list, can you just also put down next to a name, it doesn't have to be that person's name or whatever, just who's full-time and, you know, who the full-timers and who the part-timers are?
I don't even care about that. I just want to know a number.
Me too.
If I need 2
I agree.
full-timers or 3
Exactly.
full-timers,
This
and then I
would
need
be
this many
right.
part-timers. I
I'm
don't
also-
care about their names.
Right,
Well, no, I don't care about the names, I'm just saying, just put it on.
I'll put
paper,
PT
just
or
so
FT.
like, yeah.
PTR.
Just so we have
okay,
it
cool,
right there.
okay, cool, thank you, Greg,
Right.
appreciate it. Sorry, Belinda, we kind of had to get that done.
Okay, but we're gonna make it, the next item is gonna be pretty short, okay?
True.
Okay, so we still didn't talk about electorals.
All
So we
right.
have to continue.
Keith, did you have anything to report?
Have some budget numbers.
I don't have budget numbers.
How about forecast?
I got a bunch of those. Let's see, as we speak, they're out on Laurel Road working on irrigation. I'll go out there later and see what they've accomplished out there. I'm surprised that there was a problem out there now. There shouldn't have been, because we've spent enough time out there, over the last 3 months, with that. Had a talk with Sergio about, just a little bit ago about, it's wet check. How come I don't have anybody here? And we've had that conversation. Cheryl and I rode around with Sergio for a couple hours the other day and pointed out things. And so conversation is going to get real interesting later down the road here in the next couple of weeks with Juniper. The monuments were scheduled by the end of the month. I put this off. Well, I haven't put it off. They put it off. And so I've got them a hard fix for the end of the month. All the lift stations have been painted.
They look good.
The monuments, are we talking all the way through the front monument?
Correct.
Well, are they pulling the trellises off and getting rid of them?
They can.
They have to, because there's not gonna be there's no design that's gonna call for those things to be up
Okay,
against.
we'll get rid of
I'd pull those, and what color will the lines be? Just please tell me.
Or I got a question on the
lions.
trellises.
What color are we painting the lions?
Just a quick question on the trellis. If we were to leave them and paint them black and leave them as an architectural element, it would look nice.
They are black, and I don't think they look nice.
I thought they look kind of rusty, but.
No, they're black.
I think they look hideous
Okay.
up there.
I do too. I think we need to pull them. They went up, the bogey was a test, we put the bogeys up,
Okay.
they aren't good half the year
Yeah.
No, yeah,
for a while.
no, I'm not saying putting anything on it. I'm not saying putting anything on the trellis, just leave the trellises. No, that's fine.
Pull them up.
I got
Where
a
are the
problem.
lines gonna be?
A friend of mine had a,
Let's get rid of them.
well, we already
Oh.
talked about that. Somebody suggested that actually, like a bronze metallic paint, they would look nice, which I thought was sort of an interesting.
Like the color of the dome out here?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
I'd be okay with that. They can't be what they are now. They look
Yeah.
crappy.
They do look.
I mean,
crappy.
either, and I don't know that we can take them down.
Well, there's rebar and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll put the money.
It'd be a little bit of a reconstruction if we did pull them out of there, because they are rebarred in.
Okay.
So we
that's-
could paint them like the color of the, I just would like to make, not terracotta, not that raw terracotta,
Yeah.
not white, please.
Yeah, because that was-
That's why I
I
asked
think
the
it would have
question.
to
Somebody
be
told me
like
they're gonna
a-
paint them white, and I was like, oh, God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she suggested was like a bronze.
Yeah,
a
so-
I think that
bronze.
would look nice.
Yeah, what are you, do you have Jason's phone number, Keith? Or you can get it from Greg and ask him what color paint to use, what paint to use for the dome? Because that was it was a special paint that he put a metallic element into. And I just don't remember what the color was.
Who needs that, Keith?
Keith, yeah, if you can give him Jason's contact, so maybe you can reach out, maybe he'll tell you. Good. Or if he doesn't answer you, just,
He'll answer. It'll be fine. We'll find it. I'll get that color.
Thank you.
I mean, one thing about paint, we can repaint it.
And not shiny bronze. I mean, make sure it doesn't look like a
Yeah.
copper penny.
no, like that.
But then our sign could be in neon.
Sorry, I will stop now.
Okay, I'll get a sample before we
Thank you.
paint them, and then get some further guidance on chrome, not shiny stuff. Chrome like,
And
No
guarantee
bronze.
whatever color
Bronze.
you're painting is gonna have, somebody's gonna complain.
Yes.
Any other questions, Artie?
and then, the fence. Contract is finished, and all that's ready to go. I will get with the fence company this week, and we'll look at some dates. We were kind of hoping it'd been today because the golf course is closed. I don't know if it would work to push it off till July when the course is closed again, or we just go ahead and put it in. I don't think it's gonna be that much of
Just
a
give them helmets so
hindrance.
if they get hit by one of my balls.
Well, you don't slice it anyway.
My middle name.
So, I don't think it's gonna be, if we decide to go ahead and do it,
Okay,
I don't think it's
Okay.
gonna be they'll be
I
there
think
maybe a
we're
day, day and a
fine.
half.
I was gonna say, we're gonna be far enough off the course. I mean, that's pretty far right of the cart path. I can't imagine. I was just trying to be courteous to the golfers, but yeah, as soon as he can get us on the schedule.
Rock and roll.
Where are we with the two pieces of property on Valenza Loop where, we had the $5,200 irrigation? Where are we? I've lost track.
Well, we are really kind of in limbo because we haven't decided if we
Okay.
wanted to do that. Of course, if we do that there's the back gate up on the end of Padova. We've got to put, because I've been asked already.
And at the end of.
Oh, Avellini.
Oh, my God, we have so many spots that are
Cipriani.
non-irrigated, this would be a pretty big expense.
I know.
So, I'm just in limbo.
I just didn't remember where we were.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we're
We
just
don't have- we don't have to
limited.
take it up today, maybe we're holding.
I would hold it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully in the
Just didn't
summer,
remember.
normally what happens is it starts to brown, then the summer we get all the rain, everything greens up, nobody
Yeah.
worries about it anymore.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's gonna be it'll be an expense, that's for sure.
Okay.
But, let's see. Did you want this all pulled right out here in front? I mean, palm's gotta come down, for sure, but the shrub around
Well,
it's dead.
I
A little bit of it's, just wait.
well, what are we, you just gonna have an empty circle?
Well, aren't those hedges, those are shillings, right? I think they're in pieces anyway, aren't they?
Quite a bit.
Right
They
now,
look
those
awful.
are shillings, I thought they were Exora.
Oh, they are
They're
Exora.
Exora.
Okay.
I think that,
They may
if the
come back
palm
with the
has
one.
to come down, pull the palm, but I would just trim the Exora and see what happens. Only because
Yeah.
you don't want to completely empty.
No, it's gonna look like a construction site.
And then we can talk maybe about,
We can put the lines there.
Four of them.
Paint the right
On each point of the compass.
I mean, something should go there. I mean, it's just, especially if we're not gonna do anything for a year. I mean, we're,
but you can't put another palm, you can't
Can't
put a
put
tree
another
there,
palm.
basically.
I know, but put something, just,
Okay,
I
well,
mean, I think we should put something in just.
make a proposal at the next meeting.
I can talk to landscape committee about what,
Anything, I mean, just as a temp, I mean,
well, even if we pull out the palm and the ixora and put new ixora in, we can do that. Ixora actually is the one plant that seems to grow here.
I mean, even if it's a small, small something, they had nice magnolias at MRT that, last year, but but listen, just for a year, I'm not telling you it's a permanent fix, but we've got to do something short term, because we still have residents here.
I have a picture of what that circle looked like shortly after the club was built, and it was low, and it was really nice, and it looked great.
It was ixora. It was, the orange,
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
yeah,
Okay,
it was,
Yeah, we just
yeah.
need to do
I think
something.
we can just pull everything and maybe put new
let's start with that.
ixora in a circle, and at least then we have something to look at, so
Okay, do you want,
I can work with you.
okay, we'll go, okay, great.
We're just gonna do it.
And let's make sure that decent size to start, let's not get.
I know. Trust me, I don't want you
Don't
to
make
call me. Leave me a note on my door that says they're not tall enough. Right, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
Any other questions for Keith?
No.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, supervisors, on my end, I do have the presentation of the registered voter count. This is behind tab number 2. So as per Florida statutes, we're required to announce the number of registered voters as of April 15, 2026. There were 1,816 registered voters residing within the Venetian Community Development District per the Sarasota County Supervisor of Elections. And just as a reminder, the continued workshop will take place on Friday, February 22nd, 2026, and that's at 9:30 a.m.
Is the number of voters up or down, or kind of stuff?
It's down.
I
It was
haven't checked. I don't
1972 last
recall.
time. It's down by 160.
I don't recall what last year's was. I'd have to go back.
I thought it was 17 something.
No, it was 1972. Pretty sure. I just remember it. That's what it was.
I can double
Something
check.
like that. It's way
But
down.
regardless of what it is, we can't.
Can't change it.
No,
Can't change it.
no, but it'd be interesting, but it would help understand the dynamics of the community, that it's a lot more
It
summer
was just under
It could be more
2,000.
summer residents.
It's a lot more summer residents or
Residents,
part-time
yeah.
residents,
Maybe
because
some of the
people who
sales.
technically who live here full-time would be registered. So it gives
Well,
you
this
an idea.
actually should align with the survey results on who
Yeah,
lives
that's
here and
what I
who
was
doesn't.
thinking.
It'll be interesting to see if it
Oh,
does
yeah,
align.
when's the survey coming up?
Soon. I have a little bit, we'll talk about it in supervisor comments. Maybe if it's okay.
Yeah, so I'll have that in a minute. We can move into the business items while I have that, while I get our number. So, item number 6A, I don't know if this is an item you discussed in the workshop or if there's any pending action to take on this one. This is the discussion regarding the roof RFP.
We did did not discuss it.
Okay.
I would like to discuss it. Okay, so we've all had the opportunity to look at the photographs and digest it a little bit. The comment was made that we need to maintain this facility. And the roof, obviously, even though we don't see it, is the most integral part of the facility. Right, the roof right now is scheduled into the reserve study for, reserve budget for next year. So Ken had made a comment that we could borrow money for La Sala to do work from the capital. So I was wondering, is that possible to do something? Could we borrow money against that and then pay it back next year?
We don't need to borrow.
You don't need to borrow.
It's in the reserve.
Okay, no, I'm saying, if we did it this year, if we were to do it this year, could we borrow money against the cap? So, okay, so we
wouldn't
can,
have to borrow.
okay. We'll swap money from funds.
Just move it.
Just
the
move
money
it.
forward, right?
Just move it forward and back.
The fund balance will cover it,
Okay, all right,
so you don't have to do anything.
okay, so.
So you move the money up into the next
We
fiscal
don't move
year.
anything.
Well, I'm sorry, so the money for the roof is sitting in the
It's
next
there.
fiscal year to cover the whole roof.
Well, there's just a pot of money, so it's the
Right.
report that gets changed, not any of the money really. You see,
okay.
because it's just a
We don't,
pot of money.
we don't create it by line item. The
So it's
line
just a
items are
bucket.
just
It's a
an
bucket.
accumulation.
The bucket.
Okay, so the bucket, so we have the bucket of money that could pay for this thing. So if I am right, and the roof needs to be repaired, and we repair it, that's great. If I'm wrong, all we've done is accelerate the roof replacement by a year.
You mean replace. You said repair, but you're talking about
Replace,
replace.
replace. If I'm wrong, all that happens is we'll replace it a year sooner. If we don't do that, and you're right, and it could go another year, we push it a year. If you're wrong, if the theory is wrong and we have catastrophic problem, then we don't know what we're in for in terms of costs, expenses, closing down. To me, it doesn't make sense to risk 1 year's worth of trying to push it out, because none of us, when we bring our car to mechanic and they say, you've got 2,000 miles left in the tires, and they might make it, but I think we all replace our tires. We're looking at this roof, and if there are problems, and we do have an issue that's not covered by insurance, we've now got, okay.
Wait a minute.
Wait, yeah, I have a
That's-
question. Can I
Yeah.
ask a question? Not having been at the last meeting, I'm working off the minutes. Even the insurance company suggested that we hire an independent engineer.
Yeah, they do.
So that's what I thought we were talking about. Where are we with that? To do an assessment, and then if the engineer finds leaks, we submit them to the insurance company.
Correct.
And see if they will cover them. Or
No,
we fund them
he
ourselves.
says, no, if you have a leak, after the fact, if you have a leak, you can submit it to the insurance company. But he said wear and tear is not covered by insurance.
Right.
He said you can apply for insurance or try to get coverage, but it doesn't mean they're going to cover it, and wear and tear is not covered. So if you want to have an insurance person come and start ripping up every valley
Well,
and
not an
seeing what it
insurance
is that
person, an engineer.
Did
we get an engineering firm?
No.
Nope, they did send, a name, and I provided the information to Greg.
We also got a name from our reserve.
But here's the point, we're not doing anything. We're just right now, we're just getting an RFP.
But I don't even want to, because it seems to me, and you might not agree with this, but if we can have an engineer come and look and they say, the only place you appear to have issues are in these valleys, then why not just fix those valleys?
Because that's only this year, and it's gonna cost you each valley is about $5,000 to $10,000. We have 11 valleys that we did not fix. So you're gonna have pay for an engineer to have him come in, fix the 11 valleys.
He's not going to fix it, he's going to tell us what his,
Okay,
I would like an engineering opinion of what the status of the roof is.
I would too, and here's why,
Well, the
because
start-
please. Because if you get the engineer and he gives you the opinion, that can be built into the RFP, RFQ, whatever you want to call it. That will have the additional information that needs to be included when we go out for bid with this.
That's a good point.
And that's point blank, like,
Yeah.
why I think we need an engineer to take a
And we
look
can
at
get
it.
it quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's just move on.
yeah, but
Yeah,
nothing's getting done.
So I'll make a motion that we engage an engineer to give us a roof report.
I'll second that.
That way at least we'll get some movement out of it.
Right.
And I think the point that Cindy makes is a great point. That way at least it's something that's in there, because she'll be able to do it fairly quickly.
Yeah, but again, it's gonna take us a month to get a roof and engineer, and then a month to get his report. So 2 months out, and now you're in.
Here's what but let me just say, Rich,
Here's my worst nightmare. Something happens to the roof. We then have leaks. I don't know how much it's gonna cost to wrap this roof. Then it's gonna be let's say there's a hurricane, not necessarily here, but in the state of Florida. Materials are gonna be gone, materials will go up.
All speculation.
Labor, it is speculation, but all you're doing is taking it from this year to next year. So my speculation, well, like I said, I might be right. All you do is accelerate it 1 year versus taking the risk of a calamity. And I'm not saying a calamity is gonna happen.
He
But I'm
said
saying
only accelerating.
It's, all you do is accelerating the roof repair by 1 year to make sure we do not have a problem.
Where's your 1 year?
It's in the reserve for 27.
It's in the reserve for next year.
The
The roof,
The whole thing.
the
whole
roof,
thing.
what do you think?
Every
What do
roof
you
in
think?
this community,
Mr. Reserve Czar, what do you think reserves are?
every roof,
Say that 5 times, reserve
every
czar.
roof, every roof.
the roof, I mean,
Reserves are.
the roof is 23 years old.
You can,
The roofs have a 20, 25-year lifespan, so.
the money is there, whether we do it this year or next year, the money is there.
Right, okay.
if somebody comes in and inspects it and says, if you spend $40,000 now, you don't have to replace the roof for 5 more years,
Mhm.
then it's worth doing.
Right.
If he comes in and says,
Yep.
you gotta spend $80,000 now, and you gotta replace the whole roof in 2 years, then I would agree with Rich, do it all.
Yes,
Yep, so I made a motion.
That's all.
I agree with that 1,000%. And like I said,
And do we have any idea what it costs to have that inspected?
No,
Order of
actually,
magnitude?
Somebody's,
we got information over on the 13th, and the additional roof inspector was Drew Torkinson, I wanna say.
You have on my email, that CIR references,
That's
best roofing.
That's the inspector, American Roof Inspection Services, but if you scroll down in that same email, Jill sent over the engineering firm to you, Greg. That's the one that was referenced by the insurance company from Aegis.
I had it was 2,500 or 5,000.
Hallowell?
I thought it was about $5,000, but I could be an example.
Rinkus?
Yeah. Well, there were two, Howell,
Yeah.
North America, and then Rimkus. I don't
I
know.
think-
So ideally, get it done and we have the report on our first meeting in June. And then we can make an
And we
educated.
have an RFP pretty much ready to roll.
Yeah, I prepared the RFP,
Yeah.
it was pretty much ready to roll, but, you know, we don't have the expertise for the scope, so we
Thank you.
relied
Well,
on
but
the
that's-
scope that was provided by the facilities.
And I don't wanna rely on that. I wanna
Yeah,
rely,
where'd that
even
go
if we
from?
have to pay the engineer more money, I wanna rely on
I think she's right.
what the engineer has to say about what the requirements are for the roof replacement. I don't want, if you're not an expert,
No, but all
Tim's not an
but
expert.
all requirements have to fulfill Florida statute.
I understand that. Let the engineer help us with that.
All you have to do is set reference, all.
I don't wanna Google it. I
No,
don't
it's
think
not
any of us could.
I think
No, we're not
we're
experts.
spending more time on this than if we just.
I agree.
So I made a motion, you seconded?
I seconded it.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
call it.
seconded.
So just to be clear, does anybody want a phone call made to Hollowell, North America, or Rinkus to have them do the inspection, or to get a bid on the quote for how much it would cost?
Well, we haven't voted yet, but I think you're gonna find a yes.
Whoa! All right, we ready to call it? Let's call it.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Are you opposed?
No,
Oh,
Okay,
it's
it's,
harmony.
so,
it's a waste of time, but
okay,
So
so,
yes.
Yeah,
But think of the harmony.
I think they
Think of the
should-
harmony.
I'm thinking this, I'm thinking.
No, we all are. We all
We
are.
all are, and yeah, I just,
You want me to call them?
who's,
Yeah, who's calling?
Like I said, I've seen several
Well,
good pictures. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, yeah, why don't you bring?
he's in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Yes, because you really are the only one who can certainly engage it, so I would say you need to call them to see who can come in the fastest.
Yep.
of
Yeah.
those two.
yep,
Whoever can be here the fastest, they should come in.
Well, fastest again is to report the quickest.
Yeah.
there you go.
Because some people say I've got a 2-week turnaround time, I'm reporting, I can be here in a week, but I can get to the report the day next day.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then do you want to
Okay.
touch base with Rich on what you find out? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. Good discussion. All right.
And then I'll also ask him if he has a pro forma RFQ available.
What?
A pro forma RFQ,
a template
a template of what we
for the
can,
RFQ.
or at least what the items we should be asking for.
RFP.
RFP.
RFPs.
RFP.
Yeah.
Scope of work.
Yeah, we've got the legal side of it, but the
Yeah, we
scope
would
is
need the
what
scope
we're
of
ready.
work. Mhm.
Okay, righty. Okay.
okay, so we did have item number 6B.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Good point.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to item number 6C, discussion regarding staff appreciation. Jill, you wanted this added for discussion?
It was Cindy, actually,
Was it
but,
Cindy?
or no, maybe I forget.
Well,
one
you
of
put
us
it on
did.
there, but yeah,
right.
so we're gonna back burner this. I need to talk to a couple of people. It might show up on the next agenda. I'll let you know, Belinda. Okay.
Moving fast,
You should
Belinda.
just let Jamie know.
6D,
You should let the staff
Cheryl,
Does he-
discussion and consideration
Oh,
of
yeah.
landscaping.
Landscaping.
Yeah, well, given our discussion about Juniper, I feel we should hold, but I would like to at least get the board's input on what was submitted as the last revision to the plan. Because if Juniper responds and we're happy, I want to be able to move this quick. And if they don't, then we're sitting on it till next year.
I'm not happy with the plan.
So,
Okay.
When I went back and looked, I saw those red cedars are really junipers.
no, they're not. They're
Tiny
the
towers.
The
Oh,
tiny
tiny.
towers.
They're not the
Cypress.
junipers. This is it's a much cleaner look. He is gonna start with 9 to 10 foot.
Oh, great.
Species.
Okay.
And then he said that there is a lot of varying information on how tall they grow, but they will grow. But they won't grow wide, which is what we want. We don't want them wider, we want them tall.
Them Tuscan-like.
Can somebody comment, I think it was a resident, that they don't do well in Florida?
She was talking about red
Yeah.
cedar.
I had
I
said,
just read it, yeah, again. She was talking about the red cedar.
but I had said, I had talked to Truman because I wanted to put some of those Italian cypress, they're like, it's a Normandy something or other, in my front yard. And Truman had advised against it, but it was not this type. This apparently is a different type.
Right. And this particular resident just doesn't like them anyway. She wants palms. So, I mean, everybody this is where, yeah. these are
I'm
tiny.
still afraid of these, that, you know, even though they claim to be deer resistant, I had junipers back up in New Jersey, and I live by a golf course, I had deer gone. I have a blueberry bush in my yard, gone.
They
These-
ate
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
They ate the blueberry, and every time, and every time I stop spraying it for more than 4 days, I've got to spray it constantly. I'm just afraid that if we go to something like this, I'm just afraid if we go to
there's only
something.
remember, we're not talking about the whole community. We're just talking about the road down the middle boulevard.
I know, but that's the most important. If you have a bunch of lollipops, it's gonna be terrible. I'm
make them Royal Palms.
I'm afraid to go to something like this, if we get a little bit of dying, some dying and or deer, it's gonna be this lollipop and it's gonna look, they look
Okay,
terrible.
so here's what I'm gonna ask, and I'm just gonna cut this off now because it's not even worth spending the time, but when we started this project, Landscape Committee came forward and said, we want a tree that represents the Venetian Italian. We all agreed to that, and now we're saying no, so come on.
Okay,
Can we just get
all right,
some direction? We can't keep, we're gonna be redoing this about 30 times, and we already have redone it, this is revision 5. So we may not go forward with this, but do we want a tree? We said yes initially, and now if we don't, then we'll go back to palms. But he is trying to do what we asked him to do. So we just need direction, and we need to not keep changing our minds.
I'm fine with the plan the way it is.
I would have one, I'm concerned about Schefflera getting eaten. There's a lot of Schefflera in here.
Where's the
The
Schefflera?
Schefflera is the light green,
The flax lily? That's all
no,
flax
it's
lily.
gray, sorry, it's like a dark green gray. It's in swaths.
The lariape?
No, it's called
Oh,
Basil
Basil
Schefflera. If you recall, when they put the plants out here, they put in Trinid, which is essentially the same plant. So I'm wondering if they could substitute something else like dwarf alamanda for Schefflera, because Schefflera is like salad to deer. I had put some Schefflera. No, it's like a salad bar. I had put them around my pool equipment and they mowed it down to tiny twigs.
Okay, consider what did you say?
Dwarf alamanda, ALLA.
Oh, I already talked about that.
So, and the flax lily, I think we're gonna find is gonna get shabby and crappy. But I think those are small things that we could work around. I think the concept of something lowy and flowy is great, and if it isn't flax lily, it could be like ficus, like green island ficus that they have at the, although it takes some care, but I'm willing to give the tiny towers a try because I think if they work out, it could be different, which I think is part of what we would like, is something, because I don't want to see the view of the golf course get blocked. I think that when you come in,
Right.
it's a beautiful view.
Yes.
And it's an unusual feature, and it's nice to be able to see the vistas. So to me, they create a statement, because like I said, my only other choice would have been a Royal Palm, but I think I'm the only one on the board is interested in that, so I have to move on. I wanted to ask, with the tiny towers that are here, are they going in back of the monument?
Because they'll stick up.
Above it.
Oh, they will?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's starting with the 9 to 10 foot.
okay, fair enough.
So, and then he
I like
replaced the
some.
ones that we didn't like, he put drift rows in
Oh, yeah.
instead of the
looked
bogey that
pretty.
everybody was
Yeah, the
concerned
boogies are
about.
gonna be, they
So-
just get eaten by bugs,
So
so.
took those out.
I would just say if maybe they could swap out if they could swap out the Chevalera for the dwarf Alamanda, I think it would be.
Yeah. And the Kunti, the Kuntis don't seem to grow well. I've been trying.
Great.
They take a while to get established.
Once they establish, they're
I-
like.
I've-
you
I've
can't
been-
They're
even
so
grow them.
Florida.
I know, but I've been there for 2 years, it's not established.
Well, there's many in the community.
Really? I haven't seen a lot then. I mean, it's pretty, I'm just,
I like the changes they made.
Well, and you know what, the last step also is I sent this to Spencer to say, can these be maintained and are they gonna be okay? So we'll have Spencer's input as well
yeah, that's very.
on this, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I wanna have him do is take out the annuals on that second berm. So there won't be any annuals on that. Not the berm, sorry, after the guardhouse. He's still got some annuals on the ends, and I don't want them on the ends because
Waste of money.
waste of money.
Yeah, I mean,
We're just gonna resod that, correct?
Exactly, we're just gonna sod it.
and if we find over time the flax lily just gets funky, then we'll just fire it and put something else in there. It's not a wholesale, redo, just my opinion.
And they still have that design inside the circle over here that you're not gonna see any of that design of plantage if you have all that stuff around it, so it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Up at the big river club circle.
Yeah, the big river club circle, you're not gonna see any of that design. You're not anywhere near it. It's gonna have all the plants up around it, so you're not gonna see this wonderful design of colors and flowers and this wonderful looking star design or whatever.
Well, he is working on, he didn't have time to get me the viewpoints from the side. So I've asked him for the viewpoint, especially for the circle. I said, that's
Yeah.
really what we're concerned about.
Because if that's all
Very nice, yes.
Chevalera, the deer will clean that out right down to the ground.
Yeah, this
guarantee.
ring here,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we put something else, dwarf alamander are great, because they put out a beautiful, like a canary yellow trumpet shaped flower. They're tough as nails, or at least as tough as the Ixoras.
Okay, and then, oops. And then we have, if we do end up going forward with this, we're retaining the medules in that little island, but we need to relocate the black olives. So I was thinking, maybe we'll put the black olives in the Valenza Loop area.
Exactly.
Because those big open areas that aren't irrigated.
There you go, yeah.
The black olive will retain enough water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big tree and it will provide some shade.
And
Maybe
there's
we'll keep
6.
that not burning
And
out.
I think there's 6 of them, so if we could just get, I think there's 6, there's 4 and 2.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I think if we could put 3 on each, and we get some kind of a canopy there, it won't burn out. Good thinking, Batwoman.
All right, and so you know what, there's
Oh,
also
we're getting
some
there.
stuff for the ring that is not a palm tree, so you know what? Let's see what happens with
Yeah.
juniper before we do anything on that circle right out here. And then if we are not moving forward with this, Keith and I will take care of the circle. If we are moving forward with this, it's gonna get replanted anyway.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, anything else? All right.
Could we go ahead and just, like, pull that ginger that's on those islands?
Probably looks better now than it has in forever, but yes, we can, but I would, once again, if we pull it, it's gonna be dirt.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah, and then it's gonna, every time it rains, it's just gonna, there's nothing to hold it.
Yeah, I think, I see what you're saying, but I think that
Okay, I
we're
was just
gonna have the
asking.
same problem. But let's see what happens in a
Okay.
month. We'll
Okay,
figure out, and in the meantime, I'm still gonna get these changes made, and I'm gonna get this repriced,
Great.
because if we pull the trigger,
yeah, we need
I
to.
wanna pull it fast during rainy
So
season.
do you need some kind of action?
Yeah.
No? Because we don't have another,
Well, I can get it priced,
Oh, yeah, you're right, we need
I
to price
can't do it
first.
without pricing, so.
Yeah, you're
when
right,
there's
you're right,
changes,
you're right,
I'll get it priced and then I'll bring it back next time.
which is not gonna be till June 8th.
Right. But still, on June
Okay.
8th,
Doesn't look like
We'll
we're
have a
gonna get
little
lot
bit of an
rain
idea.
before then.
Yeah.
That's true, good point. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, so we're gonna move into item number 7A, which is the consideration of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting held on April 13, 2026. These are behind tab number 4 for your review. Any questions, comments, and/or changes to the minutes as presented?
Yeah, Belinda, I had wanted to, I'm gonna call it simplify the lines 160 through 166 for the LaSalle Workgroup update, because there's a fair amount of detail here that I think could be misinterpreted without the context. So I wanted to just read for the board what would be there instead. It's currently an iteration of 2 years of, an architect was engaged, and that's actually not correct, and there's a whole bunch of figures here. I would like that summary of the LaSalle update to read as follows, and I'll give this to you, Belinda, because I typed it up. The board was provided an update by the LaSalle Workgroup, including one rough cost estimate for the project at $1.8 million and potential next steps. At least one additional rough estimate is expected. I say at least one because Jamie thinks he may have another one. The project update will be posted on the district's website along with the group's first report for March 2025. I want the minutes to reflect the fact that I was afraid it would be misconstrued that the project is locked and loaded.
Yeah, and especially saying that a central block concept was selected, they're an advisory, not even, they're an ad hoc, they can't select any.
Well, and that was done last year. So, if you guys are okay with this, I'll give it to Belinda. That's my first question for you. And the second question to Belinda is, maybe it's the Andy question, can we republish the minutes to reflect so that this is not the version that's, I know it's there, it's already in the package, but can we?
It's a draft, though. It's
But
not
it's
a
a
final.
draft, so
So
the
could
final
we-
minutes will reflect the new language.
Okay, great, okay, fine. Oh, that's right, because we published the final minutes. Okay, fine.
But, right, you can't
No, I'm not
You can't
looking.
unsee this.
No, I'm not
You can't put the
suggesting that.
toothpaste up
I
here?
just wanted the trail to be complete.
It's already there.
Put it that
And
way.
then today, there would be a motion to
Somebody
approve
looks
the
for it, it's
minutes
already there.
as
As amended. Okay, so I'm gonna make the motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Is there a second?
Wait a second.
Second by Rich. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Alright, so moving on. We're gonna move into item number 7B, which is the consideration of the operations and maintenance expenditures for the month of March 2026. That's beginning at number 5.
I had a question, maybe it's probably for Vanessa, but the speed bumps, 78, 85, maybe there's more to come, I don't know. Do we know where that was charged?
We covered that at the workshop on Friday. I thought it was under, maintenance and repairs, but
Okay, so that was one of the items we talked about moving to capital.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Any other questions?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
By Joe, second by Cindy. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
All right, so we're now going to move into consent items. There are a couple of consent items that are being presented for your acceptance. We have minutes from the Facilities Advisory Committee meeting minutes for November 4th, 2025, January 6th, 2026, February 3rd, 2026, March 3rd, 2026. Racket Sports, March 9th, Fitness and Pool, March 18th, and Reserve and Finance for March 2nd.
And then there was on the table here something from landscape, did you want to?
That'll be in, I don't
Next
think we can
meeting.
do it, it'll be next meeting. Yeah.
Oh, it hasn't been.
There are no questions,
Is
we'll be
there-
looking for
I
a
have
motion
a
to
question.
accept.
I was just curious as to why we got like 4 or 5 land, facility reports all at once.
I don't know, I thought they were being put in.
It could have been a procedural boo-boo.
I'm gonna find, I know we were short, a meeting, but I don't know why they weren't put in. I will find out. We were always very good about getting those in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Could be
very
somebody
early.
just didn't realize the final step. I think
Right.
we've had that happen with
Yeah.
every committee at one time or another.
Mhm.
Not the end of the world.
But Tim, I will talk to Tim when he's back.
Not the end of the world.
No, but the whole point of having minutes is to see what's going on, to be semi-current, so we're not 5 months behind. I'm totally in agreement with that.
So
He
did
took-
somebody-
He took the muzzling order too seriously.
Do you need a motion or did somebody make one?
We need a
I'll
motion
make
to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Jill, second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Supervisor requests or comments, are there any supervisor requests?
I just had one. Joe, have you spoken to Hampton about having a 6-month review?
I have not, I was gonna snag Jamie when he was here, but that's actually as a Post-it note on my computer at home.
Okay.
So that is absolutely on my list. So,
We need to, I mean, it's,
no, I get it.
especially trying to coordinate, if Bill were to come to that meeting too,
Yeah.
we're talking about trying to coordinate a lot
Yeah.
of people with.
Yeah, I get it,
you know,
I get it.
allocations and whatnot.
I have raised it a couple times, but it's been. Let's see, I had something really quickly, and I'm gonna make a proposal, because I sent you a draft of the LaSalle communication, and I also have for you a quick view of, because I don't think I emailed it to you, passed down, let's see. Yeah, could you, I don't think Greg saw that. And then 2, 3, 4. This is I asked to get from our friends at, Club Insights, a view into last year versus this year questions on the supportiveness. I have a couple extra copies. So they're essentially the same number of responses. Obviously, we lost some supportiveness, I'm guessing based on, the words, there may be an additional assessment, but I was actually surprised how, especially when you include the neutral folks together with the top box, it still stays a fairly robust number. So I will find out from Club Insights today when we're getting the rest of this. It will certainly be in time for our next meeting. But I wanted to ask you whether you think we can hold the communication that goes out to the community on LaSalle, or do you want to go ahead and push it out quickly? I have my view, but I'm interested in yours. Do you want a copy?
No, that's fine.
What do y'all think?
I mean, I haven't heard anything since those first couple of comments, and I've talked to those people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I think maybe we wait until we know exactly how we would fund it and then go.
I agree.
Because right now it's just gonna create more.
I agree.
Well,
Why kick the hornets now?
And I keep getting the question of, do you think it's really gonna happen? And heck yeah, and we just need to figure out the funding mechanism for it.
That's right.
Because it needs to happen as well. This is not I don't think this is something that's optional. So, I don't know, I guess we can wait to see until we get the money put aside for the architect.
Because what we say in there is really the process, which
Yes.
we aren't giving them any really
No.
more information.
Right.
No.
And so Yeah.
It was written in anticipation. We've been talking, I'm looking at Nancy when I'm saying this, because I've spent so much time with Nancy and the others in the last 2 years on this, that, we've been talking for a long time about, making sure that the community feels like they're involved and communicating and staying transparent, et cetera. So we've always had the idea of how do we kick something off. But I think when I showed it to my husband, the first thing he said to me was, how's it gonna be paid for?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
what time's dinner?
Talk
No,
to
seriously.
the CDD chair.
But, no, seriously. Maybe we can just, especially, given the time, we can just, and I appreciate Cheryl having put the drafts that were provided
Yeah.
through AI, which simplified it, although I think there was some feedback I got from some of the feedback I got was particularly helpful, but I think when we say something, it should be fairly complete and not
Yeah, and
half-baked in a hurry.
a little bit more direction that we're gonna
Yes.
hire an architect. We're gonna hire an architect. We will be presenting the overall schematics to the
Right.
community.
Right.
It doesn't mean that they're gonna vote necessarily, but at least they get to see
Right.
what the plan is.
And a concern that, I'm sorry, and I'll let.
No, you were talking.
Just one more thing is we timed the focus groups around when people were gonna be here, because we didn't want to face the accusation that there they go, kicking this off just when everybody leaves and nobody can come in and say their piece. So I think timing matters. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
But everybody's gone.
Yeah, of course they do it now. Everybody's.
Sure.
Nobody's here.
It's like the focus group.
Yeah.
Will the architect, the project going forward, consider like a plan B? Or is like this it? This is the design, no other consideration?
No, it's not. I think it's a great question. So if you go back to the package that the group provided in April, it's far from the final design. It was the concepts, let's call it a concept of, for example, how do we maintain a separateness in the dining room, but still gain extra seating in the bar? How do we create more flexible space? It's something we spend a lot of time talking about, so that if we're going to be losing 20 seats or 21 seats in the dining room, as it is configured today, how do we recapture that? And the architect is well aware that the design is far from final, whether it's for monetary purposes or for purposes of making sure that it reflects what people want. Because I think it was clear in the focus groups that people like the idea of the separateness. And I think in order for us to get the most community buy-in, we need to develop that a little bit more.
Larger bar area and outside dining
Yes,
with the two.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So is there another way, there are other ways to achieve that? Because I'm going back to two experiences in recent years. One, the Tiki, and my club up north, who went through this same expansion process.
Right.
The membership, had conniptions. I mean, just voted it down incredibly. There was no backup plan. They fired the architects, they got new architects. Well, they had architects from Naples, Florida, designing something in Maine. That had an inside-outside bar, and they didn't provide snowsuits.
Well,
You get an architect from Naples, Maine, not Naples,
But-
Florida.
Seriously.
But what I would say
So,
is,
So all I'm suggesting is have them look at it again, kind of holistically, saying, well, if these are the two ultimate goals, are there any other ways to do that might be bring the 1.8 million down to 1.2 million or 900,000 or
Well,
something.
I think it's a good question, and I think there should be, I think the board should have a rank order of what's important. You know, and I think we have a very good idea of that from the focus groups. But, you know, as an example, you know, if there's a seating area, you know, under here, if we're gonna climate control it and it's gonna cost X amount, is it worth it to do that, you know? And that's, for example, that's a question. If you're talking about putting the bar, you know, flipping the floor plan around, it's a question, we can always go back, nothing's set in
I'm
stone.
not talking about anything, I'm just talking about a plan B.
I think the short answer is nothing's set in stone. What I would personally recommend that we consider as a board is doing town halls, some town halls like, if you remember, when the facilities committee did it, with the tiki bar, just to make people feel like they can see stuff and be heard.
But town hall is not over the summer
No, it would have to be after we have more information.
and in season,
Yes,
people are here.
and I do think an absolutely critical piece of what the team did is they visited 15 or 16, maybe more, other properties around us, both new properties and ones that have been renovated, and there's a really common theme of what works. And so I think that's helpful. It's just a question how we operationalize those elements here and what the rank order is. So if we think the appetite for spending is lower, then what do we cut back on? And the answer is absolutely looking.
And will the architect know
Yes.
what those common themes are?
Yes, he already knows what they are.
Okay. Good.
Absolutely. No, I think that.
I just want to be prepared for,
Yes.
have you considered other things? The question will come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think we're prepared to answer that. Yep. Okay. Sorry for the long blue.
Any other supervisor requests or comments?
My only other comment, and I'll be brief, is that we had our bocce task force kickoff meeting last month. April 30th. Mark Craybaum is the chairman. Yes, he is. And we're moving forward. I've given them the parameters of the future LaSala, with the assumption that they've got to work within the parameter of the patio being extended to 5 feet, based on the current design, right?
Yes.
The preliminary. So they know all of that, and there's conversation about, how do we keep it like a multi-purpose? And we don't lock everything up with it just being bocce. And by multi-purpose, I mean other things, you know, like when we do our Santa Claus dinner and all that kind of stuff, and there's pictures on the
He doesn't play
line.
bocce.
He doesn't play bocce apparently, and then, you know, the Easter egg hunt and all that. So we don't want to lose those things, so we gotta figure out a way to
And
knock
keep
it
in
up.
mind, and keep in mind possibly getting equipment back there.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's the big,
We talked
that's
about
my
that.
biggest one is equipment. How do we bring anything back there if?
Well, you can say that about anywhere then. I mean, so yeah, it's on the list.
What's your time frame in terms of coming to a grand conclusion?
So I gave the kickoff meeting, and we've got a total of 6 meetings, and then I might have to ask for an extension. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't have to ask anybody because they're not appointed by us.
No, but I do think the way the charter's written is you
Oh,
approve 6
I
months.
see. Okay.
Yeah, the board approves 6 months, and then I can ask for another 3 if we need it.
Okay,
I think
cool.
that's what I did.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any other supervisor requests or comments? It is 12:28 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Jill. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 12:28.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Such a short meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you love that.
I'm gonna have